WFUV sports crew and live coverage of Fordham University football. The game will be on 90.7 FM, but the music doesn't stop. You can keep listening to this show online. Just open up the WFUV app or head to WFUV.org.
Fordham Rams football returns to Rose Hill tonight for a clash with the Monmouth Hawks. After a tough matchup with Boston College in Week 1, the Rams look to bounce back against a familiar foe. The Hawks got the win against Fordham last season and lead the all-time series 4-2. Monmouth enters tonight coming off the largest comeback win in program history and is in search of a 2-0 start, while Fordham will try to put on a show in their first game under the lights since 2023. The hill is filled, the lights are bright, and the stage is set. It's the Fordham Rams versus the Monmouth Hawks. It's Fordham football, and it's coming up next on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome you into Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field on the historic Rose Hill campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker Austin alongside Chris Carrino ahead of Fordham football's home opener against the Monmouth Hawks. Monmouth wants to go 2-0, and Fordham is looking to bounce back after the loss to Boston College. But the weather tonight is sure to be a concern for both of these teams, and the third on-site member of our broadcast crew has more on that. We send you down to the sidelines with Gabby Price. Gabby?
Hey guys, one of the major storylines tonight will be this turbulent weather that we're experiencing and how that will affect the type of football that we see. Now, here's something interesting. In 2005, Coffey Field was upgraded from grass to field turf. Unlike natural grass, field turf doesn't turn muddy. Water drains vertically through a base system, meaning that for players, footing is generally more consistent. However, the rain can also cause the rubber pellets to clump together, which can make the field very slick and potentially have patches with different traction. Now, what does this all mean? It means that cleat grip becomes very important, especially if running backs or receivers break out in explosive cuts. It can also affect how the ball skids after bounces. So this will be a testing challenge for both teams, and we'll see who figures it out first. But walking past me now, head coach of Fordham football, Joe Conlon, and his coordinators. Chris and Tucker caught up with the coach yesterday. Take a listen.
What's up, everyone? I'm Chris Carrino.
I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Tucker Austin.
Your Fordham football broadcasters for the 2025 season.
Join us every Saturday on 90.7 FM and on WFUV Sports YouTube page for live radio broadcasts of every Fordham football game as the Rams continue their quest to their first Patriot League title since 2014.
With a new look offense and veteran leaders on defense, you won't want to miss this. Fordham football, every weekend on WFUV Sports.
Well, welcome back to Moglia Stadium. We apologize as a little bit of a technical issue and translation for the coach's sound. We don't have that, unfortunately, today, but we're 6 minutes away from kickoff here between the Monmouth Hawks and the Fordham Rams, Fordham's home opener here at Moglia Stadium. And Chris, their opponent, the Monmouth Hawks, a familiar one for sure over the past 5 years, but they're coming off a big win in Week 1.
Yeah, Tucker, absolutely. Maybe the most far-fetched and mind-blowing win of the entire program's history. It was a 27-point deficit that Monmouth saw in front of them on Saturday night at Colgate. They came back to win that one, 42-39. Their quarterback, Derek Robertson, 4 picks in that first half. He rallied with 4 touchdowns to match, along with 491 yards, and he won his team the game. 3 receivers with over 100 yards for the Monmouth Hawks. That's the first time in program history. All in all, on all sides of the ball, a historic game for the Monmouth Hawks. And, Tucker, a lot of momentum coming into Saturday.
Yeah, Derek Robertson played incredibly to bring himself back from the brink in that game. He threw 4 interceptions in the first half and then comes back with 4 touchdowns in the second half to bring Monmouth all the way back. But such an explosive offense.
might be running into a wall today. Fordham's defense showed some really, really great things in the Boston College game last week. We've talked about it before this broadcast. They stopped Boston College's offense, an ACC offense. They stopped them 4 straight drives. So what can this Fordham defense do to keep that explosive passing game off of the field for Monmouth?
Yeah, in the first quarter of that game last week at BC, that game was close, and the Fordham defense kept getting stops, 4 in a row to be exact. It all starts and it ends with James Conway in the middle. He's a leader, and he leads by example. He's been fantastic. He already matched his total tackle total in that last game. It was his total last season, or his high last season, of 17. He's been known to have more than that in the past. He hasn't had more than that since 2023. It seems like he's back. It seems like he's healthy. It seems like he's taking that leadership role this year as a senior seriously, and that is very good for the Fordham defense.
Yeah, and after a 17 tackle performance against Boston College last week, Conway also has the most tackles of any active Division I football player. That's across all of Division I. Really an incredible stat, and just goes to show you that Fordham has become such a successful linebacker university. You go back to Ryan Greenhagen, who left the team. He graduated just before James Conway arrived, as the Fordham Rams are getting ready to take the field here.
Greenhagen, 30 tackles against Nebraska. Still a record that will stand for
unbelievable.
a long time.
I still go back and watch that game sometimes. It's just such an incredible performance, play after play, jumping over the line. But here come the Fordham Rams. Fordham in their full-body maroons for the home opener. Maroon helmet, white face mask, maroon jerseys with white numbers and white stripes on the sleeves. Red pants with white stripes as well.
Nice look.
It is a nice look, Chris. Fordham looking good, but we were talking a little bit pregame as well. Monmouth also has a pretty good look. We'll see when they come out of the tunnel in a moment.
Yeah, the weather is something uncontrollable. The uniforms for both these teams, that's what they can control, and they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah, speaking of that weather, Gabby Price did a great job reporting on the weather conditions tonight for us pregame. And with a little bit of extra information about the field, that was pretty helpful as well, as there go the Monmouth Hawks in their silver helmets, white jerseys with blue lettering, navy blue that is, dark gray pants with white and blue stripes, and white socks for the players who have them.
And Tucker, that weather that Gabby was talking about, a major element of this game. Both these teams very familiar with each other, as you mentioned earlier, but that weather element is such a wild card in this game. It might limit some of the passing game for both these teams. Gunnar Smith, a guy who had his first start for Fordham last week, looking to get more success, or looking to have more success this week. That weather could be a major factor for him and the passing game of Monmouth. We talked about how successful that Monmouth passing game was last week.
And Gunnar Smith also, he stayed in the full game against Boston College, and we talked about it on the Hill this week, Chris, that we were wondering why he would have left Gunnar Smith in so long, especially when the game got out of hand. Like, why don't you go to Jack Capaldi there, go to your backup and get hipster reps? But it's because it's Gunnar Smith's team this year,
right.
And it's his first game at home today for the Fordham Rams. So we'll see what he can do in front of the home fans here at Moglia Stadium.
Yeah, and like you said, Gunnar didn't get pulled out of that game, ended up having 39 attempts, completed 20 of them, 152 yards. That's almost 4 yards an attempt. A pick six, which really hurt this team. That was the turning point of that game, no doubt about it. But still looking for that first passing touchdown. Will he get it this evening? We'll see.
We shall see. The captains are heading out to midfield for the coin toss. Alex Kemper, one of the captains out there for Fordham. Alongside him is Claudie Robinson, as well as Duke Leonard, and of course the aforementioned James Conway. Fordham will hope to win the toss. They won the toss against Boston College last week, and Monmouth, I believe, wins the toss. They are going to elect to receive, so Fordham gets the defer option anyway, but they didn't win the coin toss.
Yeah, another coin toss loss for the Rams. Lost last week.
They did lose last week.
Not a losing streak they'd like to keep intact.
So Fordham will do the kicking to begin this one. The Rams getting a little rowdy on the sideline here as they are ready to roll.
Yeah, it's Drew Minich jumping up in the air with the rest of his defense. They're excited. They're pumped up. They're ready for this home opener. Under the lights, Tucker.
Under the lights here at Moglia Stadium. The Fordham Rams haven't played a game at night since 2023. It was a home game here at Moglia Stadium. It was against Georgetown. I believe it was Georgetown. But that was the last time they played a game under the lights, and it's really one of the more exciting times to watch a football, especially a college football game.
Yeah, absolutely. Good crowd on hand as well.
And the Fordham special teams heads out. They're getting ready to punt it away. Fordham's place kicker is Bennett Henderson. Henderson sets the ball on the tee. Back to receive.
Makai Green back to receive.
Yes,
for Monmouth.
Makai Green. He gets some looks at running back, does Makai Green, but he does a lot of work as well.
Makai Green, TJ Spade back. 2 guys for this Monmouth team, both seniors, leaving dependable hands back there for the return. Very smart.
And Henderson's kick is away, and we are underway here in the Bronx between the Fordham Rams and the Monmouth Hawks. Ball skips across the goal line and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So the Monmouth Hawks will set up here.
It's going to be Derek Robertson taking control of this Monmouth offense. As we talked about it a little bit, I compared it to a Jameis Winston sort of existence last week. 4 interceptions and then 4 touchdowns made up for all of the qualms and woes he may have had at the early stages of that game. Really proved himself. We'll see if he can continue to prove himself today.
And we'll see if the Fordham defense stands as strong in this first quarter as they did against Boston College last week. It's shotgun for the first play of the game for Derek Robertson. Receiver on the right and on the left, just 2. Running back moves from his right to his left. And there's going to be a flag here, a false start before the first play.
Jalen Dawson and James Conway, the 2 linebackers in the middle, are ready to pounce at any moment there.
So the laundry already comes out. And the false start will back up the Monmouth Hawks 5 yards to their own 20. Fordham in a positive defensive situation without having a snap in this one. Same formation for Monmouth, same motion, running back to the left. Now tight end moving left to right. Takes the snap. It's a handoff up the middle, bouncing off a couple of bodies and gets a couple of extra yards, but only gets about a gain of 1 or 2 on that play.
Tucker, efficient tackling. I'm going to go on about it all evening. Being able to tackle, not letting these Monmouth Hawks break tackles, that's going to be vital for the Fordham Rams today.
And so that brings up 2nd down and 12. Here, 30 seconds gone in the first quarter. Shotgun again. Same formation again. Tight end on the right, though, in motion, and now takes the snap and fires deep down the left side of the field. It is incomplete at the 50-yard line.
Josh Derry, the wide receiver, tried to make an effort on that one, just didn't quite have the connection.
Yeah, and great coverage on that play by Terrence Jones II. The wind really kicking up here as the storm clouds are beginning to roll in to Moglia Stadium here.
It's been a bit of an ominous vibe weather-wise this evening.
Yes, indeed. Derek Robertson, shotgun again for 3rd down and long. There's a receiver on the right, and 3 receivers are lined up on the left. There's a bit of a stoppage here. They're changing the ball.
Rodney Nelson in the backfield for the Monmouth Hawks. He's a part of the duo, the Nelson brothers, the explosive offensive skill players for this Hawk team.
Shotgun, 3 receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Left side of the field is the long side. Running back offset to the right of Derek Robertson. Takes the snap, drops back to pass. He looks left, fires left, and it's incomplete. He threw it a little bit behind him, but it was Terrence Jones II on the coverage again. 2 great plays on the opening drive by Jones.
Yeah, Jones, back-to-back great plays. Similarly to Boston College last week, Monmouth trying to go through the air to get down the field on this Fordham defense. Fordham secondary stepping up, Tucker.
And you have to think maybe the wind was a factor on that drive. It's blowing the papers around in our press box right now, but the punt team is out on the field for Monmouth on 4th and long. The punter, Luke Schabel, receives the snap. It's a low punt. It's only going to get to about the 45. It's received there. And Fordham will take over at their own 45-yard line. Alex Kemper with the return.
Yes, the captain defender, Alex Kemper, back to get that one. Gunnar Smith time now. Gunnar Smith going to control this offense, this Fordham offense, for the second time in his career this evening. And it'll be curious to see how he plays. Last week, some good things, some bad things. Definitely good signs. Would like to see him expand on those this evening.
And so the Fordham offense rolls out onto the field for their first drive of the evening. Gunnar Smith at quarterback. It's Ricky Parks offset to his right. 2 wide receivers on the right side stacked up and 1 on the left. Takes the snap. It's a handoff up the middle. It's not Parks, but he gets 9 yards.
It's Jamel James.
It's Jamel James.
Jamel James got a lot as there's some extracurriculars here on the Fordham sideline.
A little bit, yeah. Seems like
nothing too out of the ordinary.
Couple of players tugging on jerseys.
Seems like it's been subdued by now. But yeah, Jamel James getting a touch there. There's been a lot of touch from him and Ricky Parks. Rodriguez been a bit of an afterthought in that running back room. And with Lewis joining that running back room as well, a lot of company in that Fordham running back room.
Same formation for the Rams. Snap and the fake handoff. Now firing over the middle, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands there. Very close to a completion.
Yeah, that was
that time for...
It was Jabril Carter. It was behind him. Decent speed on that one from Gunnar Smith. Just the placement wasn't quite there.
Now 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Shotgun again. Running back offset to the right. It's a fake handoff, and Smith keeps it, and he dives for the first down, and he will have it. The referee signaling for the chains to move. It's a first down for the Fordham Rams at the 44-yard line.
Fantastic effort there from Gunnar Smith in the read option. We saw him use his legs at the early stages at BC. We're seeing more of it today.
Tempo for the Rams. Stacked receivers on the right and the left. So 4 wide with a running back to the right. Smith takes the shotgun snap and fires immediately to the right and tackled out of bounds there. They go back to Jabril Carter for the short gain on first down.
Yeah, short gain there, just keeping the chains moving. That's going to be big for this Fordham offense, not getting stagnant, not losing yards, just having a constant, steady upfield battle toward the end zone.
Same formation again for the Rams. There's a tight end way wide on the right with a wide receiver behind him. That's Carter. Running back offset to the left, shotgun again. Smith. Play action, looking downfield, he fires a big shot for Carter, and it's just overthrown, just a foot or so away from his hands. And that is going to bring up, I believe, it's going to be third down, but referee looking for a call here.
And Tucker, I was impressed with the pass there.
It was a very close pass, fairly accurate. It seems like the referee is... And it's going to be a false start against the Fordham Rams. I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't see the laundry on the far side of the field on that play. So Fordham is going to be backed up 5 yards here with 12:36 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, unfortunate they're going to unload Jabril Carter just a few steps ahead of where he was. That could have been in the end zone, didn't matter anyway. A decent sign from Gunnar and his arm nonetheless.
They tried to stick with the hot hand in Carter, but did not work out. And Fordham getting set to go again. Second down and 11 on the Monmouth 45. Shotgun with 2 wide receivers on the right, 2 on the left. One of the receivers on the right is a tight end. Takes the snap and fires complete to the right side at the 40-yard line, tackled by a gang. But that is Jack Betton on the catch. And it'll bring up third down and medium.
Big third down here for the Fordham offense. Tucker, if this offense wants to be successful this season, these are the spots they're going to need to convert.
Tempo here, 5 wide, empty backfield for the Fordham Rams from the Monmouth 40. Smith claps, no movement. Now takes the snap, drops the snap, and gets it back, but is pressured immediately by Hunter Watson. The redshirt freshman D lineman getting to the quarterback after the muffed snap.
Yeah, good awareness there from Gunnar to get the ball away. That could have been a real disaster if he did not get that for an incompletion.
And that brings up fourth down. And the punt unit arrives for the Fordham Rams. So a punt for Monmouth and a punt for Fordham to start this game. Fordham punting with the line of scrimmage on the 40, so this should be a situation where Fordham's punter can pin this one maybe within 10 yards.
And Mekhi Green back once again, this time for a punt.
Takes the snap, and the punt is away. Fair catch made at the 6-yard line, so Monmouth will take over.
Decent showings from both defenses in the early stages of this one. Promising things from both sides. The offense is really going to need to step up, especially with those consistent conversions, especially on third down. That's where both these teams really need to pay attention.
Great punt there by Will Hazlitt to pin them inside the 10 at the 6-yard line. Monmouth takes over with 11:54 to go in the first, but will step away for a short break. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Carrino.
And I'm Joe Henry.
Tune in weekly for NFL Friday, your exclusive WFUV sports podcast for all things National Football League.
We'll be covering everything on and off the gridiron for the biggest sports league in the world every week on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcast.
Can the Eagles repeat?
Will the Jets or Giants finally take a leap?
What's Shedeur up to?
All of that and more on NFL Friday on WFUV Sports.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino with you. Gabby Price is with us as well. You'll hear from her throughout the game with the sidelines reports. But 11:54 to go here in the first quarter. No score yet. We've seen 2 drives and we've seen 2 punts.
2 punts, 2 decent showings from both defenses here today. Maybe more lackluster offense than anything else. Both these teams, specifically from the quarterback play, it's going to be tough to get yards through the air all evening today. It's going to be about consistently getting up the field, consistently converting on those 3rd and shorts, and I think the team that does that will win the game today.
And the whistle back to play, you hear right there, as the Monmouth Hawks offense retakes the field. That break had me wondering, what is Shedeur up to, Chris?
I mean, you never know.
And so,
something awesome, though, for sure.
Derek Robertson has his team ready to try and get out of their own territory. They're at their own 6 here. He's nearly standing in the end zone in the shotgun. 2 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Running back to the right, and he motions a receiver across from the right side to the left. Now he runs back again, and it's a handoff to the motion man. He goes up the middle, and there's a gang of Fordham tacklers there, and he picks up maybe 1 or 2.
And Tucker, I learned this from my peer, Brendan Shorey. That was cover 0. I think they were sort of thinking with the fake handoff, it might be a long pass play. Fordham defense sort of panicked, especially the secondary started going back, left a lot of room up front for the run. I'm sure the Monmouth coach is going to keep that in their back pocket.
2nd down and 7 for the Monmouth Hawks. Shotgun again, running back to the right. Deuce wide receivers on the left, 1 on the right, and the same motion man from the last play moves from the left to the right side. Takes the snap, looks right, throws right, nearly intercepted by James Conway. He got his hands on it, but it slipped right through his fingers, and that brings up 3rd down and 7.
It would have been a major momentum shifter. You just felt it in the crowd. A lot of gasps after that play. It would have been massive for Fordham. Nonetheless, defense still playing really well. Have to be happy with how they've been so far.
That looked eerily similar to the Gunnar Smith pick 6 against Boston College last week, but nearly the other way around for the Fordham Rams. A lot of defensive switches going on. The crowd raising their volume here for 3rd down. 2 wide receivers on the right, 2 on the left. Running back to the left for Derek Robertson. Robertson takes the snap. It's high. He looks left and throws left. It's picked off. It's intercepted. Fordham has the ball. That's Alex Kemper, the captain on the defense, getting the turnover for the Rams.
Leading by example. We talked about James Conway before, how he leads by example. That's Alex Kemper right there making a big-time play on third down. We've seen him in special teams. We've seen him on defense, truly leading by example and making a big play for his squad.
And after James Conway nearly picks off Robertson, Alex Kemper on the very next play with his eyes all over the quarterback.
That was not a gimme interception by any means. That was an effort, and that was a play.
He had to go up and get that one, and he did just that. So Fordham's offense quickly out onto the field here. Gunnar Smith has his guys at the 25 going in. 11:04. Two wide receivers on the left.
Ricky Parks in the backfield.
One wide receiver on the right takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looks to pass, but now tucks and runs up the middle. And it looked like there could have been close to a horse collar there. A lot of hands up near the top of the pads for Gunnar Smith, but he's brought down, medium gain there on the scramble.
Yeah, almost a QB draw of some sorts. A lot of physicality around the middle. Got to be careful with your quarterback in situations like that.
From the Monmouth 18, Gunnar Smith takes the snap. They go up the middle with Parks. He gets a couple and gets the first down. Tackled at the 14 of Monmouth. So well into the red zone here, first down Fordham.
Tucker, exactly what I was talking about earlier. Converting on first downs like that, so important for this Fordham offense. Now they give themselves a real chance to score a touchdown here.
Still Parks in that backfield. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Two wide receivers on the left, one on the right. Jabril Carter is the man wide on the right side. Gunnar Smith takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He goes to Carter in the corner of the end zone, and it's incomplete. The referee says no, he stepped out. But dare I say, Jabril Carter just mossed his defender in the back of the end zone, but no touchdown.
Tucker, a lot of physicality going toward the back right of the end zone. Jabril Carter and his defender really mixed up, almost connected, and Jabril Carter goes above him, above the helmet to make the snag. It seemed very close. I don't think a lot of people in attendance are convinced he was out of bounds. That was a fantastic play from Jabril Carter. We're seeing the connection already. Gunnar Smith, Jabril Carter has been working very well so far this evening.
Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, Jabril Carter all the way wide to the right. And there's two receivers on the right side. One of them is Matt Baran. Takes the shotgun snap, looking for the end zone again. It's Baran, but there's a flag. It's going to be pass interference, most likely at the 1 yard line.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be pass interference.
And it is.
Jaden Jones, the sophomore, I think, the culprit of that flag. Another physical play around the ball, and that one called a dangerous ball as well behind Baran. Could have really spelled out disaster for this Fordham offense instead of flag.
Although a much similar ball to the ball that Jabril Carter just got.
Yes.
Matt Baran had to get up and try to catch that ball over his man, but the defender got there just a bit too early. Defensive pass interference. It'll be first down and goal here for the Fordham Rams. And they're on the Monmouth 4. 9:50 to go here in the first. Fordham knocking on the door of taking their first lead of the young season. Smith in the shotgun, two wide receivers left, one to the right. Fake handoff, and he keeps it himself. He stiff arms a man, and he's into the end zone. Gunnar Smith rushing touchdown, and Fordham leads 6-0.
Talked about it at the earlier stages of this game. Gunnar Smith getting it done with his legs wasn't an element of his game that we were necessarily used to or knowing about before the season. Now with the BC game last week, this game this week, he could do it in all ways, his arm and his legs.
Made the defender look silly with that stiff arm. It's shades of Saquon Barkley, dare I say, Chris.
And we saw a QB draw earlier in the drive where he just ran right up the gut of the defense. Gunnar Smith not scared at all to just get it done himself.
Bennett Henderson out there for the extra point for the Fordham Rams. The kick is up, and it is good. Fordham takes a 7-0 lead, their first lead of the 2025 season, on a drive that was created by an Alex Kemper interception, and then a little bit of defensive pass interference set them up close to the goal line, and then Gunnar Smith take it in himself.
Yeah, the extra point almost got blocked there. A few Monmouth guys really getting close to the ball. Nonetheless, 7-0. That's exactly how you would want to draw it up as a Fordham fan. Kemper, one of the stars and the captains of the defense, making a big play and converting that into points. And not just points, a touchdown, 7.
great things to see early on in this game out of Gunnar Smith.
Yeah. Gotta be excited.
9:45 to go here in the first quarter. Fordham leads 7-0 here at Moglia Stadium, Jack Coffey Field. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino with you in case you forgot. Monmouth's kickoff return team is out there on the field, but they're going to be whisked back into a huddle here, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll send it to a break, and we'll be back after this with more Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sipple, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field. Tucker Austin, Chris Carrino with you. Gabby Price is also with us. You may hear from her as the broadcast continues. 9:45 to go here in the first quarter. Fordham getting ready to kick it off here. Bennett Henderson has the ball on the tee.
I'm not disappointed in your mistake there. It feels like a whole half worth of action we've already seen. A lot of good stuff coming up Fordham's way.
Absolutely, and hopefully plenty more in store in this one. It's been fun games between these two teams over the past 5 years, a really fun series that Monmouth does lead 4-2 and have bragging rights in as they won last season. Henderson kicks it away after the Gunnar Smith rushing touchdown, and it is going to be picked up there at the 5-yard line across the 10, now to the 15, and he gets loose to the left. There's a flag, though. And he's still not brought down across the 35 and out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Excellent return there for the Monmouth return man.
Yeah, that was fantastic effort all around. Fordham needs to get better at tackling. I talked about it before. That tackling can really get them in trouble, and I'm not sure what the flag will do necessarily, but that's great field position for the Hawks.
And it's going to be an illegal block in the back against the Hawks, so this one is certainly coming back. I forget if it's in college or the NFL that it's a spot of the foul call.
Yeah. Well, we're getting it right now. They're going to spot the ball. Monmouth kind of hindering themselves there. Really were in a good spot, similar to the interception that Fordham got, giving themselves momentum, and that flag really kind of hinders that.
Yeah, and it was Makai Green on that return who had a very quiet week for Monmouth in a game last week where everybody was eating. He went kind of quiet, but makes a pretty big impact here. However, pulled right back by that penalty.
And now we'll see what this offense can do. They're backed all the way back up. They'll have to go mostly the length of the field. We'll see what this offense can do. Derek Robertson, very high-powered last week. See if it translates.
Derek Robertson heads back out there after the interception in a very similar place on the field as they were when that play occurred. And it is going to be shotgun for Monmouth, and Robertson running back to the left, 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Tight end goes in motion from the right side of the line. It's a screen, and it's caught at the 10, now past the 20, and he is running. Pushed out of bounds at around the 35. We'll see where they mark him. It's going to be the 36. So getting Makai Green's play right back.
Yeah, and the Fordham secondary having some trouble tackling there, but Monmouth loved the mentality coming out right as the drive starts, trying to make an impact.
I believe it was Trey Neal on the far side. And on first down, they hand it off and go for a medium gain there, about 5 yards for second down. At the Monmouth 41, shotgun, 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left, running back offset to the left side. Fordham showing a little bit of pressure. Wide receiver in motion. And it's going to be a handoff up the middle, and there's a huge hole. He's across midfield, and he's still running. Now at the 40, and he's brought out of bounds at about the Fordham 31. A huge run. What a play there by Rodney Nelson.
Yeah, Rodney Nelson running the right up the gut route on the triple option, and they picked the right route.
And tempo here after the Rodney Nelson chunk run. He's still in the backfield, motions out of the backfield, and now receives the pass. The wide receivers acting as blockers, and he's going to get a yard or two. I think 2 yards on that play, so that brings up 2nd down and 8, this time from the Fordham 28-yard line.
Rodney Nelson, he is elusive, man. Even just on those casual tackles you have to make on him, he does not make it easy.
Derek Robertson, shotgun again, running back offset to the right. 1 receiver on the right side, 2 on the far side to the left. Robertson takes the snap, drops back to pass, looks right and fires right, but it's over the head of his receiver. Just a little bit too much on that ball. And the clock stops there with the incompletion at 7 minutes 30 and brings up 3rd down.
Massive 3rd down for the Monmouth offense. They are in field goal range or around field goal range, but this Monmouth offense wants to match that touchdown for them on their last drive with a touchdown of their own.
Robertson shotgun again. 2 wideouts on the right, 1 receiver alone on an island to the left. Wide receiver in motion, takes the snap, and it's a handoff up the middle, but all over it were the Fordham Rams. They got through the line immediately. Josiah Graham was the first man, or excuse me, it was Sam Berkeley who got his hands on him first.
Yeah, Andrew Osmond was there as well. They ran the option again in the backfield, Fordham blowing it up, giving it no chance, and a fantastic play at maybe the most pivotal time for the Fordham defense.
Could be a big stop here, especially because Monmouth's offense is still out on the field. 3 wide receivers on the left, 1 wide receiver on the right with a running back offset to the right.
Here we
Robertson
go.
In the shotgun. Fordham showing a lot of pressure. At least 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. They bring the pressure. Back to passes Robertson. He fires left. It's complete. He has a man, and he's still loose. Across the 5 and into the end zone for a touchdown. Monmouth scores.
Josh Derry, what a play. Getting the first down, not satisfied, going all the way to the end zone. Found himself free in that 3rd level, and Monmouth got it when they needed.
They go for it on 4th down in a 4th and long situation.
What a decision.
Really. And what a decision it turns out to be. They get the score. It's now 7-6 as we await the extra point.
You have a play that can work with the efficiency of that one. You can have the confidence for going on it, or for going for it in that situation. What a play call.
Kick is up and good from Hudson Feen, and we are all tied at 7 with 6:39 to go. What an eventful first quarter this has been, Chris.
What an eventful first quarter. We said it after the first 2 drives, 2 good showings from both defenses. The exact opposite on the next 2 drives, 2 good showings from the offenses. Nice to see both sides of both teams playing well and kind of backing each other up, using the momentum of each side to kind of pump up each other. Offenses, really good job, especially Robertson and Smith. They're quarterbacking there, leading their teams down the field, specifically Robertson there on 4th down. Fantastic.
Yeah, Robertson did it with the passing game, Gunnar Smith with the running game, and either way, we're still tied. But we will step aside for just a moment. You are listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Joe Henry, your 2025 New York Jets beat reporters.
Follow along with us every Sunday as we cover and analyze all things JETS.
With a new quarterback at the helm, can Aaron Glenn right the ship and cause chaos in the AFC East?
Stay updated every week with game updates and recaps from @Brendan_Shorey
and @JoeHenry_4 on X.
WFUV, your home for Jets football.
Welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field here on the beautiful, historic, picturesque campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, the Rose Hill campus. Don't we love it so, Chris? It's 7-7 between the Fordham Rams and the Monmouth Hawks here in the opener, the home opener, I should say, for the Fordham Rams. After the passing touchdown from Derek Robertson.
Monmouth on the road last week, on the road this week. Still yet to see a home game so far. Has to factor in a little bit, Tucker.
Ready for the kickoff here with 6:39 to go. The Monmouth place kicker Hudson Feen, after knocking through the extra point, will kick it off here.
Jacob Rodriguez back to return for the Fordham Rams, along with Lewis, 2 running backs, both back to take this one off.
And the kickoff is away. It's going to be received at about the 1-yard line, but he takes it out, does Lewis. Lewis is wrapped up there at the 21, and he is brought down. He is going to be marked at the 22-yard line, so Fordham begins their drive from their own 22.
Manur Keshen with a grown man tackle on the return there.
There were a couple of Fordham blockers over there, and I was wondering, why did it look like the blockers were tackling him? But it was because there was one man in the middle bringing the whole pile down.
Yeah.
Really strong play there, but it's going to be gun for Gunnar Smith with Rodriguez out there offset to his right. 3 wide receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Takes the snap, fires to the left, but all over it with the coverage are the Monmouth Hawks. They sniffed out that play quickly, and it's a tackle for loss.
Yeah, it's a wide receiver screen. The screen wasn't good enough to create enough separation, and that got blown up around the line of scrimmage.
It's Jamel James in the Fordham backfield now, getting a lot of looks at running back in this one. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun again with 2 wide receivers on the right and 1 on the left. There's a tight end on the left side of the line offset as he takes the snap. Drops back to pass, unloads deep down the right side. It's caught at the 35. He's brought down at the 30. Oh my goodness, KJ Reed as Gunnar Smith takes the top off of the Monmouth defense.
Gunnar Smith, picture perfect ball, and gets Fordham on the other side of the field.
Huge gain there down to the Monmouth 31 and tempo for Fordham. As KJ Reed is actually coming off, he's hobbling off the field a little bit, not putting all the weight that he could on one leg, so we'll keep an eye on that. What a play by KJ Reed, but you really just hope he's all right.
And Gunnar Smith, talk about catching receivers in stride. My goodness.
2 wide receivers stacked on both sides of the field for the Rams with a running back offset to the right. It's a quick throw to the right for Gunnar Smith. It's caught, and he's brought down at about the 22, the 22-yard line. So another chunk gain there on first down brings up 2nd and short.
It was a nice little wide receiver screen there. The big boys on the sideline amped up about it. Fordham, all the mojo going toward the red zone.
And more tempo as well with the same formation. Shotgun again. Gunnar Smith steps back, looking to pass, fires over the middle. He has a man. He's brought down at the 10-yard line.
Tucker, now that is impressive.
Yeah, Noden Tracy on the crossing route there. Gunnar Smith standing in the pocket for as long as he possibly could, and he finds him.
Looked for the wide route the entire time, then improvised at the final second, sending in a bullet on the slant route. Fantastic play from Gunnar.
A lot of good things in this drive, but they are still on the move. From the Monmouth 12, 1st down and 10, gun, and Gunnar Smith takes the snap, looking for the end zone, and it's incomplete. But a lot of contact there, maybe from both guys. No laundry on the field, and that brings up 2nd down and 10.
It brings up 2nd down. I saw some physicality there. Not sure if it would have indicated a flag or not, but another decent throw from Gunnar Smith. Him just putting these passes together, stringing them together, very important for this offense.
Switching sides of the field as well, keeping the Monmouth defense
versatility.
Thinking, trips right, with one wide out on the left for Gunnar Smith in the gun. Running back offset to the left, takes the snap, looks to pass again, fires to the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Fordham! I believe it's Jalen Carter on the catch. in the middle of the end zone, and Fordham takes a 13-7 lead.
Yeah, I think it was Jabril Carter caught it in his chest. The ball was almost teleported into his chest. Gunnar Smith with an absolute frozen rope, and Jabril Carter just looked at the ball, and the ball was almost sewed to his jersey. Touchdown, 14-7 Rams. Fantastic play from this offense, and a fantastic last 2 drives for this offense.
Bennett Henderson out for the extra point for the Fordham Rams, and yes, it was Jabril Carter, not the man who was thrown out of the Eagles game the other night.
That would have been wild. That would have been.
Extra points up and good. It's 14-7. The Rams answer right back to Monmouth's answer punch, and after 2 punts to open this game, 1 for each team, it's been touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
Mentioned it briefly earlier. That connection is becoming very prevalent between Jabril Carter and Gunnar Smith. Seems like Gunnar Smith likes to go to him and likes to go to him a lot in all different parts of the field. Very good connection. That connection is going to be very valuable for this Fordham offense. Great passing game from the Rams. I don't think we've seen a passing game this efficient since the DeMorad era.
It certainly seems so. He's playing really, really well in the first quarter of this one. We'll see if Gunnar Smith can keep it up.
His poise is really what's striking me the most. His confidence in the pocket never looks frazzled and is just really, really on point today.
But I think, too, we also saw a couple of moments like that last week against Boston College. Certainly
100%.
Not the whole game. It is an ACC defense. Boston College, a really solid program. But there were flashes for Gunnar Smith where they were like, hey, this guy can put something together. We're seeing it now.
Stretching together glimpses and in these small moments into an entire quarter of really good football.
Henderson's kickoff is up and away, and it's going to be received at the 2 and returned. Streaking across the 20, still loose and still on his feet. He's brought down at about the 30-yard line. Mark him down at the 32. So another nice return there for the Monmouth Hawks, really getting it done on the returns.
Yeah, decent placement now. This Monmouth offense had a really good showing last time. They had a pretty miraculous play to get into the end zone, but the buildup was decent. Now let's see if they can convert on those third downs, make their way up the field, and put themselves in a red zone opportunity.
Robertson leads his Monmouth Hawks back out onto the field. He's in the shotgun. Wide receiver wide way to the left on the far side and 1 wide receiver on the right. There's a running back offset to his right. He sends the receiver from the right side in motion to the left, takes the snap, fires to the left side to the motion man, and it's complete. He's across the 40, now the 50, now the 40, and he's loose. 30, 20, to the 10, and he's in. Touchdown Monmouth, a quick strike there on the motion play. Robertson finds Josh Derry again for his 2nd touchdown of the evening.
Josh Derry, 175 pounds, 5'9", doing what Jabril Carter's doing on the other side. Some real connection showing on both sidelines, and another explosive play in a game full of explosive plays in this first quarter. What a quarter.
Plenty of highlights in this opening quarter of play. We're not even out of the first, and there have already been 4 scores in this football game.
4 touchdowns.
14-13, and now with the extra point, we are once again tied, 14-14. Really an incredible change week to week of the intensity of the game. Surely Fordham was in the Boston College game, but this is throwing haymakers back and forth instead of getting stops.
Yeah, we talked throughout the week about how competitive this matchup might be. I don't know if we thought it'd be just as closely and tightly contested as this one's been so far. This has all the promise to be an absolute classic this evening.
Gunnar Smith rushing touchdown, Derry receiving touchdown, Jabril Carter receiving touchdown, and Derry's 2nd touchdown of the day. All within the first quarter. It's 14 all with 3:51 to go in the opening period, as the special teams units head back out onto the field for yet another kickoff. Plenty of those today, too.
Yeah, a lot of kickoffs so far, and we said in the first 2 drives for both these defenses, they should have had confidence from those drives. These last couple drives definitely hindering or definitely getting in the crawl space of both these defenses. Gonna maybe see them take more of a stand in these next couple drives. Both offenses basically doing whatever they want, Tucker.
Yeah, both offenses really have had great control over their game plan and over what they want to do. They've both been very deliberate so far in this game, especially in the passing game, as The kickoff is a little bit short. Looks like the wind may have knocked it down there as it bounces at the 17. The Fordham returner let it bounce as if it was a punt, but that's more than 10 yards down the field. It's a live ball.
Yeah, that's a live ball. Had to jump on that one quickly. Now Fordham going to take over, not the best field position, probably the worst field position they've had all evening long so far. Now another drive of Gunnar Smith. Can he string 3 straight drives together in a row that are really, really impressive? We'll see.
We shall see indeed. Out comes Gunnar Smith and the Fordham offense.
Hard to stress how impressive he's been the last 2 drives.
2 receivers on the right, 2 on the left, with a running back to the right of Gunnar Smith, shoulder to shoulder. He takes the snap, drops back to pass, and looks left, fires across the middle, and I believe it was caught there. No, they're going to call it incomplete on the field, actually. Play occurred at about Fordham's 25-yard line, but it's incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, another quick slant for the Fordham offense. They've had success in the last couple drives in the passing game. Going to see them maybe use that a little bit more as this evening goes along. The weather has held up.
The weather has held up. 2 wide receivers on the right again, 2 on the left again, with a running back now on the left for Smith in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He's pressured, but he gets out of the pocket. He fires to the right, and it's out of the hands of Jabril Carter, in and out of the hands, I should say. Gunnar Smith trying to make something out of a broken play.
Really bad drop from Jabril Carter there. Has to catch that one. Gunnar Smith, fantastic job of evading the pressure, especially on his ball-carrying side and getting out a good pass on the sideline. Should have been rewarded with a completion.
And Carter comes to the sideline for the next play. Fordham with an interesting formation here. 3 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left with a running back to the right. And it seems like there's going to be a flag here. One of the defenders for Monmouth jumped, and then a Fordham offensive lineman reached out and touched him, so this could be offsides here. Perhaps an encroachment.
Yep. And offsides defensive call there is the defensive coordinator of Monmouth on the opposite sideline, irate, hot, running down the sideline at that play. Unforced errors, really not what you want to do down the stretch in a close football game.
Very, very smart play. Savvy play by the senior right guard, Kevin Laughlin, to reach out his hand and draw that penalty.
Definitely.
Shotgun again, 2 wide receivers on the left, 2 on the right for Gunnar Smith, with a running back to his right as well. Offset, it's Jacob Rodriguez in there now. Fordham looking for calls on the sideline, now back into formation. Rodriguez moves to the left of Gunnar Smith. Smith takes the snap, back to pass, looking to the right, and he had a man, but it's in and out of the hands. Looking for Jack Betton for the 2nd time today, but a 2nd drop.
And from that angle, that should have been an impossible catch. Gunnar Smith somehow gets it in a place where that ball was still catchable.
Would have been a tough catch, too, trying to survive the ground, especially with the conditions. It's been a rather wet evening, at least in the lead-up to the game, although you said before the weather has held up so far for the start of this game.
I don't want to jinx anything.
It's too late, Chris. It's already on the airwaves.
It is much too late.
The punt unit is out for the Fordham Rams with 3:32 to go here in the first quarter. We are all knotted at 14. The snap and the kick is away. Fair catch call and fair catch made at the 30-yard line. Yeah, they'll mark him at the 30, so Monmouth takes over at their own 30-yard line after the punt.
Yeah, Robertson and the Monmouth offense, they'll take over from the 30. A decent showing in their last drive. Obviously, 2 drives that led to touchdowns. It's going to be about the short passes. We've seen some long plays and some miraculous plays in the red zone from this Monmouth team. It's about stringing together short and consistent passes, getting up the field. That's what I want to see from this offense.
And another really, really solid punt there from old reliable Will Hazlitt for the Fordham Rams.
Will was great last week.
The grad student punter.
Him and Dominic Sansone.
Shotgun for Robertson here. 2 wide receivers on the right, one of them in motion. And it's going to be pitched here. It's Derry again. He goes up the middle after the jet sweep and gets a gain of about 20.
Derry with free space has to be this Fordham defense's worst nightmare right now.
They go with tempo, do the Hawks. 2 wide receivers left, 1 on the right. Running back in the backfield takes the snap. Play action, looking right. He has a man, and it's caught near the sideline. Nice catch there by Maxwell James.
Yeah, nobody around him, still had to contort his body to make that grab. Big catch, moving the chains for the Hawks.
Back-to-back plays moving the chains for the Hawks as they also progress across midfield into Fordham territory. Robertson in the shotgun again. He takes the snap and fires to his lone receiver on the left side, but what a play by Alex Kemper on the coverage.
Fantastic play by Alex Kemper. Fantastic throw from Derek Robertson. Kemper just doing a little too much there for any sort of completion to take place.
Line of scrimmage at the 44. That ball wound up at about the 10-yard line, so if he catches that ball free, could be a touchdown, but Alex Kemper says, no way.
No dice.
Shotgun again for Derek Robertson. Running back to his right, a wide receiver on the right and a wide receiver on the left. Running back motions from right to the left of the quarterback. Takes the snap and hands it off up the middle, and he's going to be tackled there quickly. None other than James Conway shutting that play down for a 1-yard gain.
It's going to be third down now, right past the 50-yard line for this Monmouth offense. A very pivotal play if they want to establish dominance in this matchup. They need a score here if they want any sort of dominance going into the second quarter.
And that was Rodney Nelson again on the carry, but Conway shutting him down, not letting him get into open space.
Fordham defense looking for a stop.
3rd and 9 here from the Fordham 43. It's the shotgun for Robertson. He motions a tight end out to the left. Or a lineman, actually, and it was a screen, but it's swallowed up, taken down just past the 40. They're going to mark him down at the 36, but that is still short of the line to gain.
And it doesn't seem like it matters on that Monmouth sideline. The offense staying out there.
Yeah, so the second time today that they've gone for it on 4th down from the 35-yard line, 4th and 1. They give it to Nelson. He goes up the middle, and he has the first down. There's not much that can stop Rodney Nelson, Chris.
Tucker, they've already converted a 4th down. Got to make it harder on this Monmouth team when in that 4th down opportunity.
Shotgun with 3 wide receivers on the left, 1 on the right. It's a wide receiver screen on the left side near the sideline, and he's going to be dragged out of bounds. Is the other Nelson brother, Gavin.
Yeah, just a big mishmash of people on this near sideline here. It's going to set up a decent opportunity to get into the red zone and score more points for this Monmouth team. Monmouth, again, as I said, wants to take this lead going into the second quarter. They don't want to keep giving the ball away, getting another stop for this Fordham defense.
Yes, we've ticked under a minute now here in the first quarter. 46 seconds. A wide receiver on the right and 1 on the left. It's Derry. Derry in motion from the left to the right. Running back offset to the right of Robertson. He drops back to pass, finds his man on the left side. He's still loose after the initial hit, but he stepped out of bounds, says the referee. And Marcus Middleton with the reception there as the clock continues to roll.
They find themselves on the door of the red zone. 20 seconds left in this first quarter. Pretty efficient drive for Monmouth. As I said before, those short, consistent passes up the field is how they're going to do it, and they've done it so far. Can they punch in now is the question.
First down and 10 from the Fordham 22. We'll see if they try to run a play here. 5 seconds left in the first quarter, and they do. Although it's Fordham. Fordham takes a timeout. That is really interesting. So Monmouth lined up with 15 seconds left. I don't think the first quarter is over yet, Chris.
Don't think so either.
Because there was 1 second left on the clock when Monmouth snapped the ball, and then they whistled the play dead for a timeout for Fordham. So, yep, they put 1 second right back on the clock. As we are knotted at 14, Monmouth trying to pull a fast one on the Fordham Rams. Fordham's defense likely thought they were going to take that one to the end of the quarter.
Yeah, and the possession doesn't change at the end of a quarter. Not necessarily a drastic change, but if you want to take advantage of that 1 second, get another opportunity to stop the clock after this play, might as well. It's their right as Americans.
And the Monmouth offense, Fordham defense, both return to the field now for the final play of the first quarter. Just 1 second to go here. First down and 10 from the Fordham 22. It's the shotgun for Derek Robertson with his running back Rodney Nelson offset to the right, 2 wide receivers on the left and 1 on the right, but now the wide receiver is in motion from the left side. It's TJ Spate. Back to pass after the snap, and it's Spate, the motion man. Monmouth scores on the last play of the first quarter, and it is 20-14 Hawks.
And it was John Scott, the linebacker / D lineman, losing his footing there, leaving a receiver wide open for Monmouth, and a very easy touchdown in the end zone.
So now, seemingly, the Fordham timeout really for naught, as we await the extra point here. Monmouth capping a score-heavy first quarter in this game.
Maybe the most
touchdowns between both teams. Might be the most eventful first quarter we'll see all season.
Truly.
But the extra point is up and good. 21-14, the Monmouth Hawks do lead. And as the first quarter comes to an end, we send you back to the Rose Hill studio where Derek Beaulieu has your one-on-one scoreboard. Derek?
The one-on-one scoreboard.
On a rainy, thundering afternoon in the Bronx, the Yankees tied their 3-game set against the Blue Jays with a 3-1 victory after a long rain delay in the 5th inning. Cody Bellinger made a huge impact, cutting down Bo Bichette as the tying run right before the delay. The Yankees certainly hope lightning strikes twice as they look to cut their deficit in the AL East to just 2 games tomorrow. Pete Alonso gets his 6th 30-home run season in 7 seasons last night as the Mets take on the Reds once again in Cincinnati, as Brady Singer takes on the Mets' newest rookie, Jonah Tong, at 6:40. Before halftime, I'll give you all the recap of NFL Week 1 so far, as well as look into tomorrow for your Jets and Giants. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Derek Beaulieu.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field here on the campus of Fordham University. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino with you. But before the start of the second quarter, Gabby Price has her first in-game report of the ball game. Gabby, take it away.
Thank you, Tucker. And you guys have already said it. It's Saturday night under the lights. First time since 2023. And let me tell you from here on the sideline, everyone, and I do mean everyone, is fired up. A lot of this energy is coming from the Fordham Ramley in the very full stands. At one point in the top row, there were 6 approximately 8-year-old boys with shirts off, swinging said shirts over their heads. It's crazy out here. They love to see the 2 touchdowns and have been standing even while the rest of the student section have been seated. But while the Ram fans definitely outnumber the Monmouth fans, they're still a decent showing from the Hawks and are making themselves known. They are loud and definitely proud of this team. But despite all of this, the Rams are trying to stay level. James Conway specifically is patting the guys on the back, saying good job, be loud, but to not get ahead of themselves and to play with the same high energy throughout the game. That's all I have for now. Back to you guys.
And thank you very much, Gabby. You will likely hear from her later on in this game as the night progresses. The lights starting to matter now as the sun continues to go down, and these dark gray clouds have still continued to roll in, although the weather has held off. But there was lightning in the forecast for a long time leading up to this game, and there was, I would argue, monsoon conditions before the start of this game. It was not a fun walk over to the stadium today. But as it stands now, Monmouth, with the last laugh of the first quarter, you could say, they get the final punch to go up by 7 points. They lead it 21-14 after one of the most eventful first quarters that I can remember in my time at Fordham. I've only been here 4 years, but still think that's plenty of football. Gunnar Smith with the rushing touchdown to open the scoring, and then a pair of touchdowns for the Monmouth Hawks, courtesy of Derry. Jabril Carter reeled in a touchdown for the Fordham Rams before Derry scored again, and then TJ Spate. So ready for the kickoff here in the start of the second quarter. The Monmouth place kicker is out there to send it away, Hudson Feen. Back to receive for the Fordham Rams, it's Johan Lee Lewis. And the kickoff is away. Lewis receives at the 4, and he will return it. He brings it to the 20-yard line and is going to be brought down there. Big hit Another great special teams play by Monmouth. They've been playing some great football on special teams. And Lewis can only get to the 20-yard line, and Fordham will start effectively with a touchback. 5 seconds came off on the return. And Gunnar Smith takes his guys back out there onto the field. Two wide receivers on the left, two on the right for Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Running back offset to his right. He puts a man in motion. It's Matt Baran, and the handoff goes up the middle. It's Jamel James on the short gain, and it'll be second down and about 5. Shotgun again for Gunnar Smith. One wide receiver alone on the left, 3 receivers on the right, one of them a tight end. Jamel James steps up to be offset to the left of Gunnar Smith. A little bit of pressure being shown by Monmouth, as it's going to be another handoff to James up the middle, really churning the legs, and he gets another handful of yards. It'll bring up third down, but short, about 3rd and 1. Fordham looking to try and answer the Monmouth Hawks after calling the timeout that stopped the clock at the end of the first quarter, but it's shotgun again. The snap and the handoff goes up the middle, and they are going to move the chains. Referee calls it, and Fordham moving the chains for the first time this drive and the first time in the second quarter. Gunnar Smith, shotgun again. 3 receivers on the right side, one of them a tight end. 1 receiver on the left, running back to the right. From their own 29-yard line, low snap, fakes the handoff, and goes deep down the left sideline, and it's just a bit overthrown. Fordham sideline wants a flag, but that's an uncatchable ball, Chris.
Not the first play for this Fordham offense. Big play that hasn't gone right, but I like the chutzpah of the play calling here. Going deep shows a lot of confidence in Gunnar Smith to be able to make that pass, and I like it.
More of what we saw in the first quarter, effectively. Just a little bit overthrown.
Yeah, and those will eventually connect. That's when this offense will really be powerful.
Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left, running back to his right, fakes the handoff, looking left all day. He has a man, and it is caught at the 30-yard line. He's still going. He's still loose, and he's pushed down the sideline, and he's into the end zone for the Fordham touchdown. Jack Benton on a 71-yard connection with Gunnar Smith. And Fordham is an extra point away from retying this game.
Tucker, what did I say? When you have a quarterback that can make throws like that, good things happen, and big good things happen. That was a major good thing happening there for this Fordham offense. Fordham getting right back where they were. Monmouth with a great drive, Fordham answering. Both teams, fireworks, just all over the place.
I love that. It's a perfect way to describe that way, Chris. It's a major great thing, or major good thing. Yeah, it's a major good thing. So,
that's how Gunnar Smith has you talking with some of these throws.
Henderson's extra point is good. And not even 2 minutes gone here in the second quarter. And we've had 2 touchdowns again.
You could hear the buzz around the stadium talking about how much truly happened in that first quarter. Second quarter seems to be the exact same way.
So far, it's proving to be. I almost feel bad for the crew that's cutting highlights for this game because they are probably sweating right now.
Shout out the crew that's doing highlights.
Yeah.
Monmouth going to have to regroup offensively now. Both these defenses on both sides regrouping after major plays that they really couldn't have much control over. That play specifically, I mean, the secondary of Monmouth could have played as well as they wanted. They still probably couldn't have stopped that play. This Fordham offense has just been so high-powered. We'll see on the other side now if Monmouth can continue the success they had last drive. I said last drive, consistent short passing, getting up the field, moving the chains. That's what they had to do. They did that. Now we'll see, Tucker, if they can do that again.
Yeah, and just to give them a proper shout-out, the highlights crew for us today is Leah Renshaw and Emma Leonardi back in the studio, being supervised on highlights by none other than Grace McCarran.
They make the thing go. They make it happen.
Yes, they do. And you know what? They'll do some more stuff as well, because we'll send it to a quick break. Yeah. Remember, you're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every Ram. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field, the site of what could turn into a barn burner here between the Fordham Rams and the Monmouth Hawks in the home opener for the Fordham Rams. 21-all with 13 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the second quarter. It's been quite the eventful matchup. And just like their other matchups, to be quite honest, they have high-scoring games, these two teams.
Yeah, every turn of this game, you think it may start to slow down, and then it just shows you the opposite.
Henderson's kickoff received at the 2, and it's going to be returned here. I believe that's Deuce Lee, bouncing all over the place. Excuse me, it's actually Mekhi Green who finds open space on the left side. He went zigzag back and forth at his own 20. Now he's across the 30 on the other side. Tumbles over the 20-yard line and out of bounds, but another incredible kickoff return play for this Monmouth Hawks team.
Mekhi Green looked like a video game in the back half of the field here, just waiting for his time, and eventually the hole opened. He took advantage. What a play by Mekhi Green, and so valuable for this Monmouth offense. Not a lot of work to do to get into the end zone.
Mekhi Green has been putting in so much work in just the first 17 minutes of this football game. His name is all over pretty much every time Monmouth has good field position. It's always him.
Another highlight in this game.
And even the one where he broke off like 30 yards, but they got taken back by a penalty. So shotgun here, two wide receivers on the right, and it's going to be a fake handoff by Robertson. They go around to the left side and get about 5 yards, so it'll be second and about 5 or 4 from the Fordham 14.
Yeah, Andrew Osman, nice work there. Rodney Nelson really quick getting out of the backfield, and he was with them step for step.
Second down and 6 from the 13. Shotgun again for Derek Robertson. He has Rodney Nelson to his left, a wide out to his right, and a wide receiver moving in motion from the left to the right. He's looking right after the snap, fires to the back of the end zone. It's nearly intercepted and then nearly caught for the touchdown, but it lands incomplete. Two different players getting their hand on that ball. A well-thrown ball, but incomplete. Third down and 5.
Yeah, Boogie Owens making the play there. The interception would have been a great play. He settled on a good play, the deflection.
Interception in the end zone, nonetheless. That would have been huge and bring Fordham all the way back out to the 20.
Would not have been shocked the way this game has gone.
3rd and 5, you have to wonder if the stop comes here. Will they go for it? But it's shotgun for Robertson, two wide receivers on the right, and his running back, Nelson, to his right. He hands it off to Nelson, who goes up the middle, and he's brought down after a short gain, but he's going to be marked at the first down marker, and I believe, no, they're going to call that short. So fourth down and 1 here. And the quarterback is still on the field, Chris.
3rd downs for this Monmouth offense in the red zone just seems like they're in 2-down sets every single time. It doesn't really seem that there's much urgency on these 3rd downs because they know what's coming.
Almost a Detroit Lions feel, but it's under center for Robertson. And it's a direct snap to the running back, and he's swallowed up, but they get the first down. Fordham fans cheering the success on the tackle and on the odd formation there. They pull out a bit of wildcat, but it works out.
Yeah, you're on it, Tucker. First down there, it was close, but they got it. It felt pre-snap. There was a weird vibe, but maybe something different would happen, and it was a snap to the running back.
Sophomore linebacker Jalen Dawson is slow to get up after the play. Still on the turf, actually.
Dawson, a major unit, a major player for this defensive unit. In the middle with Conway, he would be a big loss if he's out.
And we'll step away briefly for an injury timeout here as he is still on the field there. 21-21 is the score between Fordham and Monmouth with 11:14 to go in the second quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside U.S. Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One-on-One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field here in the Bronx, New York, on the campus of Fordham University. The Fordham Rams and the Monmouth Hawks locking horns today. They're tied at 21 with 11:14 to go. And it is going to be a first down and I believe goal for Monmouth.
Monmouth looking to punch in now. They're close in that red zone. Makai Green, a great return, putting them in fantastic field position, and now Monmouth has to punch it in. Trying to keep up with this Fordham offense. Both teams been sending haymakers back and forth at each other. It doesn't feel like either offense can really even take a breath because the other offense going to come right back.
Yeah, no days off for these defenses today, and certainly not this week. And maybe in practice.
And maybe there's been a bit of a lack of excitement with this Fordham team, especially last year, a bit of a disappointing year. Some of the big plays in this game, some of the just competitiveness that this game has had has to be exciting for all Fordham fans.
Perhaps a refreshing taste of Fordham football in this season in 2025.
And the same thing we said with Gunnar Smith. Some of the glimpses we saw last year becoming bigger and bigger.
Derek Robertson out there on first and goal from the Fordham 7. Nelson, the running back, to his left. Two receivers on the right, now one of them in motion. And the ball is on the ground. He throws it up to nobody out of the back of the left side of the end zone, but a really odd play there. A lot of motion in the backfield, and he muffs the snap.
Yeah, TJ Spate was sprinting in motion, going very fast, and just a bit of a miscommunication there. Lost the ball. Good job not making that even more disastrous than it could have been.
Lucky that it's also an incompletion. They don't lose any yards on the play. Yeah. Second down and goal, still from the Fordham 7. Wide receivers switching sides here. There's one on the right and one on the left. Now both the tight ends from the right side move to the left. And now the wide receiver from the right moves down to the line with a running back offset to the right. It's run all day, and Nelson goes up the middle. And he gets to the Fordham 6-yard line, so a gain of only one after all of the motion.
Yeah, a lot happening pre-snap, as you eloquently described, but kind of, I would say, a bit of a dud on the play. I think they expected more of a hole up the middle, just wasn't there for Nelson.
They brought all the blockers into the line of scrimmage, and they still couldn't get enough of a push.
Anticlimactic, that was the word I was looking for.
Two receivers to the left, a lineman in motion to the right, maybe a fullback. And it's going to be a fake jet, fake handoff, toss to that, who I thought was a lineman, but is likely a eligible receiver.
Marcus Middleton, the backup tight end, made a great play. Thought he was going to get in the end zone. Just met too many Fordham defenders at that goal line. Fordham defense standing strong close to the goal line.
Interesting play call there. So I honestly don't think it was Middleton there, Chris. Middleton's number 88, and I think I saw
Jack Neri, the grad student.
Ah, there we go.
6'3", 245. Massive man.
And there is Middleton now on the left side after the shotgun snap over the middle in the back of the end zone, and it's a Monmouth touchdown. Derek Robertson finds another man in the end zone, and Monmouth takes a 27-21 lead.
TJ Spate again walking the tightrope in the back corner of the end zone, eventually making the grab. Another athletic play for this Monmouth offense, cashed in for a touchdown there, and the Fordham offense once again challenged to go and match them.
So two Spate touchdown catches separated by a Jack Betton 71-yard nuclear touchdown, as the extra point is up and good to give Monmouth another 7-point lead, 28-21 with 9:41 to go here in the second.
It's been the highlights have been abundant this evening. Even that play, it might go undershadowed in a game like this, but a fantastic play in the back of the end zone. Both these offenses really putting on a show and giving a lot of confidence not only to their fan bases, but to the rest of their unit going forward for the rest of the season.
Chris, it's getting hard to count these touchdowns.
It's getting hard to count these touchdowns, absolutely.
And so 28-21 is the lead for the Monmouth Hawks, 9:41 to go in the second quarter. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino with you as the Monmouth Hawks lead the Fordham Rams 28-21 here in Fordham's home opener. Gabby Price, the other member of our on-site crew, is also with us. You may hear from her as the game goes on. But on the other side of that break, we were talking about all the touchdowns, but you had something, Chris.
Yeah, going into this game throughout the week, we talked about the tale of two sides for this Monmouth team in their Week 1 matchup. Are we going to get the first half Monmouth, or are we going to get the second half Monmouth? That offense, especially on that drive showing, they've been second half Monmouth all evening long. If they can continue that for 4 quarters, they're a very, very dangerous team, not just today, but for the rest of their schedule.
Yes, certainly a scary team coming out of the Coastal Athletic Association, the CAA. Monmouth goes on the road next week against Charlotte before an FCS-ranked matchup with Villanova. Then Delaware State, Towson, and Fordham opponent later on in the season, Stony Brook.
Both these teams, as you've been mentioning, very familiar with each other. Not the same conference, but see each other almost yearly.
And so the kickoff after Spate's second touchdown is away. Lewis receives, and he is decked at the 20-yard line. Great play there by Trey McClear. And Monmouth is getting it done on both sides of the kickoff. Both kicking off and kick returning. They've been flying around on special teams.
And special teams, something that can go as an afterthought a lot of times when thinking about what makes a football team successful. If they stack up those kind of wins on both sides, could be very valuable.
The lights starting to kick in a bit more as it gets darker and darker here at Moglia Stadium. Fordham offense out on the field. It's Gunnar Smith with, I believe, Jamel James out there again at running back. They've been going to him a lot. No, it's actually Ricky Parks who goes up the middle and gets 15 on the first play of the drive for the Rams. Nice run by Ricky Parks.
Yeah, Ricky Parks today and the week prior at Boston College having trouble finding those holes up the middle, but when he finds them, able to use his speed, and he was able to do it there.
Tempo again for the Rams. Gunnar Smith already ready. 2 receivers on the right, 1 on the left, takes the snap and fires quickly to the left to the lone man over there. It was Noden Tracy getting his second catch of the day. And Fordham nearly moves the chains. Yes, they do. Another first down.
And I like the diversity of options that Gunnar Smith is using, really going to all the assets on this offense and not really favoriting anything.
And look out, because here comes the tempo again after they move the chains. Fordham rolling. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun from their own 45-yard line. Takes the snap, fires to the left. Finds the same man again. It's Noden Tracy who had a blocker, and he fights for a couple extra yards, and there's a flag after the play. I believe it might be coming against Fordham, as the Monmouth players are still kind of taunting the Fordham sideline after the flag, and Matt Baran is arguing his case with the line judge.
Yeah, Matt Baran, a really good block on the wide receiver screen, then some extracurriculars after the play, and a flag, inevitably.
So still waiting for a decision here. And it's going to be a personal foul on sportsmanlike conduct after the play on Matt Baran. And so Fordham, after a couple of chain-moving plays, gets set way behind the chains now. It's going to bring up a loss of down as well, so it's going to be second, and I believe, is it 25 or just the 10? So I think it's second and 20.
Second and 19, to be exact. Second and long, regardless.
Second and long for sure. 8:31 to go here in the first half of play. Gunnar Smith, shotgun, 3 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Drops back to pass and finds Ricky Parks on a short little screen, but he's swallowed up immediately by the Monmouth defenders. First hat on the ball was Bryce Rooks, the redshirt junior D lineman.
There wasn't enough consistent blocking there to really give Ricky any sort of chance to make a play. That's the dangers of running those running back screens.
Third down and 21 here for the Fordham Rams. 3 wide receivers on the right again, with Noden Tracy, the lone man, wide to the left. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun with a running back to his right. Wind kicking up again here at Moglia Stadium as Smith takes the snap, looks to pass, pumps, and now fires to the right a little bit low. And he had to dive to make the catch. Did Jabril Carter, and that'll bring up a 4th down and way too long. Fordham's punt unit going out on the field.
And the Monmouth defense got a little help from the Matt Baran penalty, but another good stop. This Fordham offense had a lot of momentum going into that drive. Nice to see nice to see the Monmouth defense getting a stop after a score and maybe building even some more momentum.
And so Will Hazlitt will do the punting duties once again for the Fordham Rams. He takes the snap, and the punt is away. Another almost blocked punt there as the ball gets to the 25 and comes to rest right there. So Monmouth takes over from their own 25-yard line with a 7-point lead, 7 minutes and 3 seconds to go here in quarter number 2.
Yeah, first chance this evening, either team has been able to, or first opportunity this evening, either team has been able to put up their team's 2 scores. We'll see if Monmouth takes advantage of it. We've talked all evening about how close this matchup has been. If Monmouth's able to put themselves up 2 scores or even 2 touchdowns, that would be vital.
And I believe there was just a delay of game called. I believe he pointed in the direction of the Fordham Rams.
Yeah,
so they just moved. Did they just call? I think I heard defensive delay of game.
And the ball is still in this, or the ball is now moved to the 30, a 5-yard penalty on the Rams.
So certainly a delay of game penalty, but I don't think, unless I'm getting something wrong, I don't think I've ever seen a delay of game on the defense.
This game has had everything, Tucker.
2 receivers on the right, 1 on the left for Robertson. He takes the snap and fires it over the mid. No, it's a fake fake pass. He caught me. He handed the ball off before doing the fake throw over the middle, and it's a chunk yardage, 1st down Monmouth.
And Tucker, we talked about it earlier in the red zone. Derek Robertson losing the ball on the floor because of a really quick motion running past him. That time, it worked out dividends.
1st and 10 and tempo. There's a man down the sideline on the left, but he reels it in way out of bounds. So Monmouth trying the tempo there and trying to catch Fordham's defense off guard for another big play.
TJ Spate, the guy in motion on the big play prior to that, he is a problem in motion, a problem in general in the open field. So fast and such a massive weapon for this Monmouth offense.
Blazing speed. Yeah. I could barely keep up with the yardage markers as he was running in one of his touchdowns.
And especially on the option, Tucker, it could really be a weapon.
So shotgun again for Derek Robertson. 2 wide receivers on the right, 2 on the left. One of them's a tight end, and he's in motion, running back to the right. And he takes the snap, hands it off, up the gut, and he's swallowed by a Fordham D lineman there. Really great play I believe that was Berkeley again. Another nice play by the Fordham frontman on defense.
And Fordham defense going to try to limit this Monmouth offense, yards per play. Feel like those small chunk plays, those small run plays, keep stacking those together. Fordham's going to get a stop.
Quick tempo for the Hawks. And down goes Robertson. A huge sack for James Conway on third down.
Conway got there, and he got there fast.
What a play by one of Fordham's captains, James Conway, adding to his Division I and Patriot League and Fordham all-time tackles record with a huge sack of Robertson, and the punt unit is out.
One of the best players in Fordham history on that side of the ball, making a massive play to get a stop for this Fordham defense, and they needed it bad.
Punt return goes a little haywire as Alex Kemper settled under it, and then the wind carried it about 5 yards over his head, and he had to let it hit the ground. So it's marked at the 14-yard line of the Fordham Rams. They'll take over with a 7-point deficit and 5:26 to go in the half.
And Monmouth with an opportunity there to go up 2 scores. Fordham gets the stop, and now they can get themselves back in the game. We talked about how close it is. They can make it all the much closer now.
Such a big stop. I really can't emphasize enough how big that sack was from James Conway, because Monmouth's offense has really been clicking drive after drive in this game. And they even go for it on fourth down a lot if it's within 5 yards.
Repeated it earlier. He leads by example, not a better example than there.
Gunnar Smith in shotgun, 2 wide receivers stacked on the right, 1 on the left, running back offset to the left of Smith. Smith fakes the handoff, goes deep down the left sideline, and it's incomplete. He just barely couldn't get back to it, did Noden Tracy.
Yeah, Noden Tracy, a lot of physicality with his cornerback as they were running up the field. May have slowed him down a little bit, but Gunnar Smith, no hesitancy, no fear, no adhesion to just throwing it deep.
No, he's slinging it tonight all over the place. And like I said earlier, he's going to any side of the field. Smith in the shotgun, a wide receiver all the way out to the right, and 2 on the left, running back to the left. And he does give it off. It goes right up the middle. And a nice little gain there of about 5. That time, I believe it was Jamel James.
5 minutes left in the half. Fordham wants to get themselves back level with this Monmouth team. A massive drive for this Fordham squad.
Jamel James, the junior from Youngstown, Ohio, in the Fordham backfield. There's 2 wide receivers on the left for Fordham, 2 wide receivers on the right. The wide receivers on the left side bunch in a little bit more, but they are still wide on the far side of the field. Monmouth showing pressure. Smith drops back to pass, fires over the middle, but it's incomplete. Intended target there was the sophomore wideout, Jack Freeberg.
Yeah, we've seen this evening those quick slants be effective and successful for this Fordham offense. Couldn't quite get it there for the first down.
And a quick 3 and out by the Fordham Rams on this drive after the big stop on third down with the sack by James Conway. But Will Haslett will send the ball back to the Monmouth Hawks.
And both defenses on both sides regaining that spotlight a little bit. Both offenses really taking all of that spotlight in the first quarter. And now those defenses going back to the form of the first 2 drives. Both getting stops on their first 2 drives of the evening.
I think they may have finally gotten a hand on the punt, did the Monmouth Hawks on this one, as Will Haslett usually has a bit more power in his leg than that. The ball rolled out of bounds at the 45 of Monmouth, and he's usually good for getting it inside the 30 pretty consistently.
Yeah, he's had some trouble today. Just in general, you mentioned it before, Monmouth really paying attention to their special teams unit, and it's done them a lot of good this evening.
A smaller roster over there, so not as much depth everywhere else, but they still know how to do special teams really, really well. And I would argue it's the reason why they're leading in this game.
Teams that put emphasis on things like that, always successful.
Derek Robertson in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers with one of them in motion on the right, and he goes over the middle. Big hit on the play.
Andrew Osmond Jr., you could feel that hit from up here in the second level. My goodness.
Yeah, 2-yard gain on that one, so it'll be second down, 1-yard gain rather. It's second down and 9. From the Monmouth 46, ticking under 4 minutes to go here in the first half of play.
Monmouth has all 3 timeouts. Fordham has just 2 as they spent one at the end of the first quarter. Wide receiver to the left, wide receiver to the right, and a running back offset to the left for Derek Robertson. He motions the wide receiver from the left inside and then hands it off to his running back. Using the wide receiver as a lead blocker, they get about 7 or 8 yards, and they'll be a yard short of the first down, 3rd and 1.
Yeah, slowly making their way up the field. Time isn't a major factor right now. Still well over 3 minutes left. Monmouth trying to get a score.
And they're trying to get this ball moving quickly as well. Tempo and the snap. They go up the middle with Nelson, and he gets the first down across the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 40, first down Monmouth.
And a very nasty juke move he uses to get extra 2 to 3 yards on each of these plays.
Monmouth set already. Robertson in the shotgun with a running back behind him. He hands it off to that running back, and he has stopped the Fordham defensive line getting right through a Monmouth's offensive line, and it's a tackle at the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Yeah, not letting this Monmouth team get those consistent short yard pickups going to be one of the major objectives for this Fordham defense. Shutting things down like that going to be vital down the stretch tonight.
Shotgun again, wide receiver out to the right and one to the left. There's that fullback position sitting just behind the line of scrimmage with a running back as well. Flushed out of the pocket after the snap is Robertson, and he has to throw it away as he's also dragged down out of bounds.
Robertson, a good job there, safely getting that one away, not doing too much negative for eventually what's going to be a tough 3rd down conversion on the next play.
Positive stuff from the Fordham defense, though, as the clock stops at 2:28 with the incompletion and brings up a 3rd down and long situation. 3rd down and 10 to be exact. Of course, we also have the 2-minute timeout that will stop play without a timeout. 2 wide receivers on the left, 2 on the right for Monmouth. Derek Robertson motions a man from the right to the left. It's Derry. He drops back to pass and fires to the right. He has an open man near the sideline, and he is going to get out of bounds after getting a couple extra yards. Gavin Nelson on the reception, and it's another red zone trip for the Monmouth Hawks. They're at the Fordham 20.
We've seen conversions from Monmouth, all shapes and sizes this evening. I don't know if any of them have been as big as that one, getting right on the precipice of the red zone.
And they get a snap off right before the 2-minute timeout. It's going to be a pass on the end around to the left, and he gets by the first defender, gets extra yards, and gets by the first down marker. So after the 2-minute timeout, it's going to be 1st and goal now for Monmouth.
Yeah, Monmouth really moving in a consistent manner. It was similar to what their last scoring drive. To go up 2 scores here would be massive for the Hawks.
And as we are now at the 2-minute timeout, we'll take a quick break. It's 28-21 Monmouth with, of course, 2 minutes left to play in the first half. Monmouth has the ball on the Fordham 9-yard line, but we'll be right back with more Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Grace McCarran, and I'm one of your 2025 New York Mets beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow along on X at Grace McCarran_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content live from Queens all season long. From Lindor's leadoff blasts to polar bear bombs by Pete Alonso, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Mets make the charge towards October. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field. Here in the Bronx on the campus of Fordham University, Tucker Austin, Chris Carrino with you. Listening to 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports, in this presentation of Fordham football, the home opener for the Fordham Rams in 2025. It's been quite an eventful one, plenty of scoring in this game so far. It is 7 total touchdowns to bring us to the scoreline of 28-21, but Monmouth knocking on the door of another.
Knocking on the door of really dominating or putting their dominance over this game. As I said before, neither of these teams with more than a 1-score lead in this game. This is the first real opportunity for one, and the Hawks trying to take advantage. Would be so big to go into the locker room at halftime up 2 scores after just how competitive this half has been.
And it's interesting how
One of Monmouth's scores came with 1 second left on the clock in the first quarter. This score could get under the gun before the end of the half.
And we lightly quipped about that timeout. It ended up ended up maybe being really valuable.
Yeah, Fordham maybe hoping or maybe wishing they had that third timeout, but Monmouth knocking on the door here. Robertson in the shotgun, running back to his right, wide receiver to the right, and a motion man from the left to the right. He hands it off to Nelson, and they try to go up the middle, but that Fordham defensive line has been holding so strong all night. Nelson cannot get anything up the middle.
Fordham D-line done a great job of just getting rid of the running option up the middle. They really aren't able to do it successfully, consistently, or just really at all. Fordham defense really limiting options for the Hawks offense. Really good job.
Yeah, the only time when they get loose is when there's way too much motion in the backfield.
Yes.
But shotgun again for Robertson, more motion. Two linemen moving from the left to right on the line. A wide receiver in motion from the left side down to the line of scrimmage, one to the right. It's a fake handoff, and he's looking for someone in the end zone. Throws across the field to the back of the end zone, and it's a touchdown. Monmouth scores. It's Josh Derry's third of the evening. And Monmouth takes a 34-21 lead with 1:15 to go in the first half.
That throw by Robertson, almost identical to the last one to Spate in the back of the end zone, just finding his man, threading the needle, and getting Monmouth another 7. This time, a multi-possession lead, a double-score lead for the Monmouth Hawks. Fantastic work.
With the extra point, this will make it a 14-point ball game. And it's blocked, though. Fordham making a play on special teams to try and stop the bleeding. They keep the extra point off the board. So Monmouth with just a 13-point lead now.
And I like the hunger that Fordham showed there. It was a bit demoralizing after that last touchdown to still be fighting, especially toward the end of the first half. Good stuff, and also just taking a point away from Monmouth.
There have been so many touchdowns in this football game, Chris. There's an entire other half that needs to be played tonight.
Monmouth, the first 2-score lead of the game just now. This game has been so competitive, so close.
Very back and forth. A little bit of chippiness as well. We've seen a unsportsmanlike conduct flag so far in this game.
Have we seen a field goal attempt yet? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Monmouth was in position to maybe kick a field goal twice, but then they converted on 4th down on both of those drives.
A wacky half of football, to say the least.
Defensive delay of game.
That was bizarre. Saw that as well.
Couple of possible no calls, but overall I think the officiating has been very solid tonight.
Yeah, tough game to officiate. A lot of fireworks all over the place.
And ready for the kickoff here. It is away from Hudson Feen, and it's going to go out of the back of the end zone for a Fordham touchback. Fordham will take over on the 20-yard line with 1:15 to go before the halftime break.
Fordham has some time to do something now offensively. Would be a major confidence booster going into the locker room to shorten this lead to 1 score. Just don't know if they have enough time. Just over a minute. Gunnar Smith with these long plays has shown he can get up the field quickly. Can they score quickly is the real question.
And with 2 timeouts, they're a little bit hamstrung to try and stop the clock here. Like we talked about before, they might be wishing they had that 3rd timeout back. Maybe not, but
absolutely
remains to be seen. 1:15 on the clock for the start of the drive here. 2 wide receivers on the right and left with Jamel James at the running back. After the snap, he throws it to Jamel James out of the backfield, and he gets about 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5 from the Fordham 30.
Quick completion is going to be the name of the game, getting up the field quickly and not using too much time on that clock.
Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, running back offset to his left, same formation. And he fires to the right side. He has a man, and it's complete. They want to move quickly. It was Troy Worrell on the catch there on the right side. And after the first down, now at the 35.
Couldn't quite get out of bounds like the last completion, but these short completions, these short, quick, consistent completions, very good.
Quick to the snap is Gunnar Smith, and he throws, but it's incomplete. A little underthrown that time. The D-back making the play there was Trey McClear. He made the defensive play without turning his head.
Yeah, a bit of miscommunication there. Incompletion, so it does not do too much damage. They can keep this drive going. Only 49 seconds on the first half clock.
Stops the clock, but you pay it down instead of a timeout.
Yeah.
Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, running back to his left. 2 wide receivers way out to the left on the far side, 2 to the right. Smith takes the snap, drops back to pass, but it's a miscommunication. No, it's actually a defensive pass interference flag because Gunnar Smith threw it. He threw the ball to where his receiver was supposed to be. He was looking for Jack Freeberg, who was on a go route down the left sideline, but it falls incomplete. It looked like a miscommunication at first because there was nobody in the area of the ball.
It looked like Gunnar Smith was throwing the deep route, and it looked like Freeberg was running a comeback route. Almost complete opposite things, but seemingly a penalty on the Monmouth Hawks.
I think what happened here is Freeberg. Oh, defensive holding. So that makes sense. I think he dragged Freeberg down, or at least prevented him from going all the way up on his go route. Maybe he thought that Freeberg was going to come back, so he put his hands on him, but then when Freeberg tried to release, just grabbed a little bit too much of jersey.
Yeah, one of those ones, if you're closer to the field, you really see it.
45-yard line of the Fordham Rams is the line of scrimmage. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the right and 2 to the left with Jamel James in the backfield. Out of the backfield is Jamel James with the catch, but he's brought down for a gain of about a half a yard there, 2nd and 9.
Couldn't get out of bounds once again. Fordham going to have to continue to work fast. 30 seconds and counting on the first half clock.
2nd and 9 from the 46.
Smith fires it over the middle, but it's incomplete there. Another nice play in the secondary by the Monmouth Hawks. It brings up 3rd and 9.
Pass intended for Jabril Carter.
Wind still howling plenty here at Moglia Stadium. Jack Benton jumps out from the sideline. He's playing on the short side with 3 wide receivers on the left. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun again, running back offset to his left. Smith drops back to pass. Fires over the middle, and it's caught at the 37-yard line. Noden Tracy with the catch, 11 seconds, and Fordham calls their timeout.
I think they're going to get a couple extra seconds. That was stopped, I think, a little bit too late. Joe Conlon sprinting over to the official to get that timeout after the catch.
Big play there. Fordham getting close to field goal range here. They could put it or get themselves within a 10-point deficit of Monmouth. And that missed extra point could come into play later on in this game if Fordham gets on the board in any way before the end of the half here.
Yeah, in a game this close, in a game this competitive, those kind of points, leaving them on the board, always hurts you on the back end.
Remember, Monmouth won the coin toss at the start of this one and elected to receive. So Fordham will receive the second half kickoff. Looking for a little bit of a double dip here to try and get back into this game. 13 seconds now on the clock. They put 2 back on after the timeout. There's 3 wide receivers on the right and the far side, 1 wide receiver on the left, running back offset to the right of Gunnar Smith.
They got 37 yards to go.
Smith flushed out of the pocket. He's nearly tripped up. He loses the football. It's picked up by Monmouth at their own 38. And what an unfortunate turn of events there for the Fordham Rams after a big move to get into Monmouth territory. Gunnar Smith is tripped up and just loses the football.
Yeah, Gunnar losing the ball, losing all footing in the backfield. And a nice play there to recover as well, making the tackle on the fumble recovery. But even still, another bad turnover for Gunnar in a really inopportune spot, similar to last week.
Within 30 seconds, we'll say, of halftime on both of the turnovers.
Sides, yeah, both sides of halftime.
On either side of the half. So Monmouth going to bring out the victory formation here with 3 seconds to go. And they knee it out to the end of the half. So Monmouth 34, Fordham 21. Fordham's going to receive the kick at the end. What a first half loaded with fireworks, Chris.
Yeah, the turnover there at the end of the half, the cherry on top of the confident Sunday for this Monmouth team on both sides of the ball. They've mounted stops, they've mounted scores, have to be confident on both sides. Fordham has to be confident to a certain extent as well. They've shown major flashes offensively. They've shown to be able to shut down defensively as well. Both sides of the ball for both of these teams have been strong in places. It's now about them staying consistent over an entire next half of football.
And that is the end of the first half. The score, once again, Monmouth 34, Fordham 21. And as we await the start of the second half, we send you back to the Rose Hill studio for the one-on-one halftime report with Brendan Shorey and Derek Beaulieu. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome into the Rose Hill Studios across the street from Moglia Stadium, Jack Coffey Field. My name is Brendan Shorey, and I'm joined by Derek Beaulieu. You've been listening to Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino on the call with Gabby Price reporting from the sideline. A fantastic game we have so far. Very explosive offense we see in this one. 34-21 Monmouth leads at the half. Before we get in and analyze it, we got a few highlights for you guys to check out. On Monmouth's second drive of the day, Alex Kemper picked off Derek Robertson to give Fordham fantastic field position.
For Derek Robertson. Robertson takes the snap. It's high. He looks left and throws left. It's picked off. It's intercepted. Fordham has the ball. That's Alex Kemper, the captain on the defense, getting the turnover for the Rams.
Fordham then capitalized on the turnover with a Gunnar Smith rushing touchdown for the first score of the day.
Smith in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. Fake handoff, and he keeps it himself. He stiff arms a man, and he's into the end zone. Gunnar Smith rushing touchdown, and Fordham leads 6-0.
Derek Robertson and Monmouth answered right back, connecting with Josh Derry for the touchdown on 4th down.
Back to passes Robertson. He fires left. It's complete. He has a man, and he's still loose. Across the 5 and into the end zone for a touchdown.
On the very next drive, Gunnar Smith threw another punch with Fordham, and he found Jabril Carter for another Fordham touchdown.
Running back offset to the left, takes the snap, looks to pass again, fires to the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Fordham!
After that touchdown, Monmouth then scored 14 straight points to take a 21-14 lead. Following that, Gunnar Smith looked to Jack Benton for a 71-yard score to open up the second quarter and tie this game back up.
2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left, running back to his right, fakes the handoff, looking left, all day. He has a man, and it is caught at the 30-yard line. He's still going. He's still loose, and he's pushed down the sideline, and he's into the end zone for the Fordham touchdown. Jack Benton on a 71-yard connection with Gunnar Smith, and Fordham is an extra point away from retying this game.
Yet another first-half touchdown from Derek Robertson to TJ Spite. Spite's second of the day, and Monmouth retook the lead.
And there is Middleton now on the left side after the shotgun snap over the middle in the back of the end zone, and it's a Monmouth touchdown. Derek Robertson finds another man in the end zone, and Monmouth takes a 27-21 lead.
Following that touchdown, Josh Derry grabbed his third touchdown of the game and extended the Monmouth lead to 13 points, 34-21. Derek, 35 first-quarter points. I mean, that's just insane to see in any game, in any level, but especially we're seeing it today, Fordham versus Monmouth. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's been a real shootout so far today, and it kind of calmed down in that second quarter, but that first quarter was just, I mean, it started off with 2 punts back to back, but it was just touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. It didn't seem like any offense had any. It didn't seem like either of them were going to stop. It just felt like it was just going to keep going. The offenses had such momentum, but it did slow down a little bit, especially for Fordham. But we're going to see how that transitions over the next half, maybe if we see the defenses step up a little bit more.
Yeah, you mentioned slower start. Both teams come out and punt, and it doesn't look like it's going to shape up to be kind of a shootout. Both teams come out and punt, quick punts, but they come out and punt, and then it seemed like that interception on Monmouth's second drive was kind of the turning point where the offenses started to click.
Yeah, it seemed like that unlocked something for Fordham as they had to push a little bit to get to that touchdown early, even though they had great field position from the interception. But it seemed like that kind of put a fire under Monmouth as well, as they immediately clapped back with their own touchdown, and it just kind of went back and forth. But now Monmouth, with a couple extra possessions, has a pretty, not a huge lead over Fordham, but a couple touchdown lead right now going into halftime.
Yeah, 13-point lead now after their extra point on the last touchdown was blocked. Fordham gets the ball coming out of the half, so a chance to kind of jump right back into this one. 2-possession lead. In most sports, people say a 2-goal lead, a 2-possession lead is the most dangerous because they get one score and they're right back in this game. But I want to talk about this Fordham offense, too, coming into the second quarter and how in the first quarter, they looked like they could not be stopped. But then Monmouth was able to put together a couple of stops in the second quarter and late into the second quarter, forcing the fumble just before the end of the half. But does it seem like this Fordham offense is going to have an answer for what Monmouth has done to adjust to them?
I'm not sure if they're going to have a direct answer like they were able to have in that first quarter where they scored a couple touchdowns. But in that second quarter, they had a 3-and-out where they just had 3 incompletions back to back to back. And it seemed like the Monmouth offense adapted to their passing game, and neither team has really relied on their rushing game at all. Not a lot of rushing so far. It's just been mostly just deep drives and some short passes as well to get down the field, but definitely a couple deep drives we've seen, a 60-plus yard touchdown for both teams. But this Fordham definitely needs to make an adjustment, maybe use their rushing a little bit more, especially the wind could definitely be a factor. It hasn't seemed like a factor super early on, but it did definitely get more windy in that second quarter. Maybe that was a factor. But I think both teams, and Fordham especially, to get back into it, may need to rely on their legs a little bit more. They did get their first touchdown as a rushing touchdown from their quarterback, so maybe rely a little bit more on their legs, maybe try to adjust to the adjustments that have been made so far.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, these teams have been relying heavily on the passing game, and I want to talk about that as well, both these quarterbacks having outstanding performances to this point. Derek Robertson comes out and starts this game going 0 for 4 with an interception, and since then has completely turned it around. Now has 5 touchdown passes on the day. His quarterback rating went from what I didn't even know was possible, a negative 50 after that interception, something I didn't even know was possible, and it's sitting at 192.9 right now. So incredible performance from him so far, carrying this Monmouth offense.
Yeah, I mean, the only blemish on his game so far is that interception. I mean, he's got just five touchdowns, 250 yards. I mean, he's had a really good game. But on the Fordham side, I mean, Smith hasn't had a bad game either. I mean, he's got over 200 yards in just a half. He's got 2 touchdowns as well, paired with that rushing touchdown as well. He's used his legs a little bit more. I mean, both quarterbacks have had an outstanding game. The only blemish, I believe, on Smith's was at the end of that right before the halftime. He did have that fumble to maybe push away Fordham's chance at kicking a field goal or maybe a last-second Hail Mary for a touchdown to bring the game within 1 possession. But, I mean, both quarterbacks have played outstanding, and their wide receivers as well have just a ton of yards that have allowed them to really push and make this game. I mean, there's 55 points in this game, and we're halfway done.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, too, everything we're saying here, all these stats, we're reading off first half stats. You look at Gunnar Smith, 17 for 29 right now for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns. You look at Derek Robertson, 18 for 28 for 256 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an interception. So, obviously, a very high-scoring game, 34-21 right now, the score. Before we kind of wrap this up, I'll ask you, Derek, what do you want to see? You mentioned the running game, getting those running backs involved. Outside of that, what do you want to see from both of these teams going into the second half?
I think one big thing for Monmouth is just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, they're up, and what they've been doing consistently has been working. But a really, really big thing for Fordham is to stop allowing Monmouth to get good field position on kickoffs. Monmouth has done a lot on getting extra yards, and they've been running back with kickoffs a lot more than Fordham has, and allowing them to get in a position closer to midfield to allow them to get in good position to score a lot more, and that's why they are up to 34 points. And I think that's a big thing that Fordham needs to stop, getting tackles early and getting good tackles to allow them to keep Monmouth back and kind of stop the scoring.
34-21, Monmouth leads at the half, but that is going to be all from us here in the Rose Hill studio. Me and Derek will be back after the game with more analysis in just a few minutes. Tucker and Chris will have you guys covered with the second half. Until then, take a listen to Tucker and Chris's conversation with Fordham football head coach Joe Conlon heading into this matchup against Monmouth.
Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino, we're here with Fordham Rams head football coach Joe Conlon. Coach, thanks for taking the time. With a challenging week 1 now in the rear view, what did you focus most on in practice this week, getting your guys to sort of turn the page for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had to clean up the special teams mistake, kind of an operation time issue there. I mean, snap wasn't perfect, but it was good enough, and we got to get that ball off. So there was some split issues with the front line, and we just have to have a little more urgency there. And then, I think underneath coverage on defense, front seven did a great job stopping the run. Held them under 100 yards. And I think even O'Brien said that in an interview that someone sent me. But we got to do a great job underneath coverage, that 2-minute drive. They didn't really push anything down the field in that drive. So, and the guys were right there, it's just, tough. But then offensively, we have to do a better job with release skills and getting off press and things like that, and creating more space for Gunner to operate, and just kind of communicating better. So, all stuff we focused on week to week. I thought we held up okay in protection up front. One mental error there. They gave up a sack. But for the most part, guys weren't getting cooked with moves. We got to be a little more effective with our aiming points in the run game. But, aside from that, it's a pretty solid day.
With Gunner specifically, what were the positives you took away from Saturday that you're kind of thinking going into the rest of the season?
Yeah, never lost poise, composure, never got frustrated. And he took it all on himself and he owned it, and that's what a leader does, and that's what a quarterback needs to do. So he was handled some pressure situations, got hit a couple times, and never blinked and never flinched, and made some throws, especially later in the game. He made some great throws and let us down the field, albeit against their backups, but still good football players. Those, they're two defense. Those guys were rotational cats. And he let us down the field, got us into a scoring drive. And there were a couple throws early, third play of the game. We had a really good play call and just missed it. And, he stayed even. And, so that was all great and all stuff he can build on. And he's had a tremendous week of practice, especially Wednesday. So excited to see what he can do Saturday.
Yeah, and even in the earlier stages of the game, he was doing it with his legs a lot. He was very evasive in the pocket. Is that an element that you knew was as prevalent as it was, or is that something he maybe even surprised you with in that game?
Not necessarily off of film, but just something we saw in off-season workouts and spring ball and fall camp. So, he's very athletic for a bigger cat.
Yeah.
So he did a real nice job with his legs, did a good job in the run game. So, hopefully it's something we can continue.
Now, Fordham's defense had some really solid drives against a Power 5 offense in Boston College last week. What did you see out of them last week that were some positives that they'll be able to carry into this week's game against Monmouth?
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job up front with some movement stuff and getting off blocks and getting guys free. And I think James Lenahan and Alan Gant did a good job with the game plan there against BC's run game. Obviously Conway, having Jimmy helped a lot. I think, 13 tackles or something like that. So, Ozzie played really well, and Jalen Dawson too. So, we thought going into it, we had really good depth on the D line, that kind of held true. So we feel good about that, and obviously got out healthy. So, and those guys are playing hard. Corey Burns doing a good job with those guys. So. I just think, they hit us on some play action stuff down the field, which we kind of knew was going to happen. We said, hey, get it on the ground and play defense, which we did a really good job of. Through 3 quarters, defense gave up really 31 points, they did a fantastic job, and, they hit some passes on our, backup guys at the end, but I thought those guys were fantastic. We just got to eliminate do a little bit better job of the underneath coverage and eliminate some of the chunk play actions. And I think we'll have a pretty good defense.
And to shift the attention to your opponent, they had an improbable win last weekend, maybe the most improbable win in their program's history, largest comeback in program history. From the things they were doing well in that comeback, was there anything you saw that you're going to try and limit this weekend?
Well, they've thrown the ball downfield. They hit some big passes.
700 yards, I think, in the air, something ridiculous.
Robinson's really good. He threw 4 picks in the first half. All on his side of the field. We're certainly not banking on that.
Yeah.
They really didn't change on offense in the second. They were moving the ball all day. They really didn't change on offense. In the second half, they just connected on some vertical shots. defensively they tightened up a little bit. They started playing a little more man-to-man and things like that. So certainly all things that we'll be prepared for.
Yeah, and the game is going to be at 6 p.m. We don't get a lot of night games here on campus. So how excited are your players to get the opportunity to play under the lights here at home?
Yeah, they're excited to play at home. They're excited to play under the lights. We didn't last year, so we haven't had a night game since, I think, Wagner in 23. Yeah, they're excited, and it's going to be fun. Should be a really good atmosphere. Students always come out, so should be a good time.
And you've had this game, you've seen this Monmouth team a lot in these last recent couple of years, coming off the tough losses of the trials and tribulations of last week. How does this Monmouth game in past years and this year kind of set the tone for what's going to be your Patriot League schedule and things of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, you always just want to play better than you did the week before. So right. if we're better at that stuff that we felt like we needed to get done coming out of BC, then you'll feel pretty good about it. So yeah, I mean that's what we're trying to do. If we can hold up in protection, if we can run the ball, if we can create some space and get our guys open against their DBs, and if we can, we're still stout against the run, clean up the underneath coverage, and don't let them chunk us in RPO or play action. I think we'll be fine.
All right, Coach Conlon, good luck. Thank you once again for taking the time. We really appreciate it as always. Kickoff between the Fordham Rams and the Monmouth Hawks at Moglia Stadium is just moments away here on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, it's linebacker James Conway, and you're listening to Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports. Let's go Rams.
And welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino back with you after the halftime show. Thank you so much to Brendan and Derek for putting that on. But before the start of the second half here, it's just 3 minutes away. We go to our sidelines reporter once again. Gabby Price has more. Gabby?
Thank you, Tucker. Now, I know I said at the beginning of this game this would be a weather-dependent, and although the sky has gotten darker, in part due to nighttime setting in, we have fortunately not encountered any rain, a great thing here for everyone at Moglia Field. But to take a quick look at the history of these two teams, Fordham and Monmouth have played each other only 6 times before this. The average points scored in those, 38.8 points. Right now, as we know, the score is 21-34 at the beginning of the second half. Monmouth is on the cusp of reaching that average, and although Fordham is a little bit further away from getting there, Alex Kemper stayed optimistic. He walked along the bench saying, "We got to settle in. We are all right." Assistant coach Stephen Kochi also shared encouraging words to his O-line. After running through some plays, he told the squad that they know what they're doing and to do the job that they know how to do. That mindset is definitely something Fordham will bring into the second half as they try to close the gap. Tucker and Chris, back to you.
Thank you very much, Gabby. You'll hear more from Gabby Price, perhaps before the end of this game. Second half of play, now just 2.5 minutes away. And what a first half it was. Really, one of the most ridiculous halves of football I think I've ever witnessed. The first one I was lucky enough to call, but it's been a lot of work today, Chris.
A lot of work today, a lot of fireworks, a lot of, as we said during that first half, a lot of highlights to cut up for our highlights people. And just in general, Fordham slowly losing the plot, or quickly losing the plot toward the end of that half. They have to keep this a one-score game. That's going to be the key for this Fordham team the rest of the game. They don't want to play from behind the rest of the half. They got to close that gap quickly, and that's going to be with scores. Gunnar Smith pushing the ball upfield with passes, getting the run game incorporated, getting Ricky Parks more incorporated. A lot of things this Fordham team can do to improve in that first half, from that first half.
Yeah, and Monmouth's offense specifically, when they go more than 20 yards down the field with their plays, and that's in terms of the passing game, they've been very, very successful. And you stack that on top of their really good special teams play and their good returns, combined with their good stops on kickoffs. They've been doing it all through the air. They don't have a rushing touchdown. They don't have a rushing touchdown in this game. All 5 of the Monmouth touchdowns have been passing. Josh Derry with 3 of them. and the other 2 belong to TJ Spate.
And we knew that this was an explosive offense that the Hawks had. They scored 35 points on 20 plays last Saturday en route to that major comeback win. The one part I don't think I could have predicted was just how consistent this Monmouth offense was all half long, especially at the end of the half. Consistent throughout. That's what kept them ahead, and that's what has them up 2 scores right now.
40 seconds away from the start of the second half. Here in the Fordham Rams home opener of the 2025 football season. As we just described, exciting first half.
Yeah, this half is like the first half. We're in store for
I was going to say, we're probably looking at more fireworks in this game. I doubt we see much different half to half here. Both these teams have been, like we said in the first half, they've been very deliberate on offense in their attacking. They know their game plan. They know how they're going to attack each other, and they have been going at it. We looked at the unsportsmanlike call earlier in this one on Matt Baran that maybe was unwarranted. Maybe there was a little bit of, I'll bring up the Jalen Carter situation again. Maybe there was a first aggressor, but Chris, I know this is a football game, but the first rule of hockey is they always get you for retaliation.
Always get you for the retaliation. That hurt this team a little bit. Both teams coming into this half with some confidence. They both did things well in that first half. It's going to be about staying consistent on both sides of the ball. That's what's going to win either of these teams the game. Fordham should be really optimistic, even down 2 scores. They did a lot well in that first half. If they can do that over a more consistent style of play, they're going to be in a really good chance here.
And the kickoff is away from Monmouth, who won the toss in the first half and chose to receive. So Fordham gets the benefit of receiving to start half number 2.
Gunnar Smith, fresh out the locker room, ready to facilitate for this Fordham offense. Big drive for this Fordham offense. They could set a real precedent in this second half with a big scoring drive here and keep this game very close.
They're down 13, so they need a little bit of something on this first drive to get them fully back into this game. Wouldn't say they're necessarily out yet, but a score and a stop needed here for the Rams. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, running back to his right. 2 wide receivers out wide to the right, the far side of the field. Takes the snap and hands it off up the middle. There's a mound of humanity at the 27-yard line. Both teams' lines just converging on each other, and it's Ricky Parks on the first carry of the second half for the Rams, 3-yard gain.
That plays a great summary of the Fordham running offense so far this evening. Ricky Parks trying to go up the middle, not finding much, only getting a couple yards. They're going to really need to expand on their running game if they want to have it be just more excelling.
Smith in the shotgun again, but there's going to be a flag this time before the play, and I believe this might be, it's going to be a false start. Okay. Trying to guess what the flag was going to be. Couldn't really tell, but it's a false start. So Fordham backs up 5 yards after the first carry from Ricky Parks. Second down and 12 from their own 24. Smith in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left on the near side. Fakes the handoff to the running back, throws it over the middle. It's nearly intercepted there, but in and out of the hands of the D-back, and that brings up 3rd down.
Dangerous ball from Gunnar Smith there. It looked like he almost hesitated to throw it. He knew the dangers of that ball. Just not enough, or not any option really becoming readily available, trying to sneak it in and proving unsuccessful. Almost disaster.
And quickly, Fordham find themselves in a pressure down here. 3rd and long. 2 wide receivers on both sides of the field. Running back to the right of Gunnar Smith. Gunnar Smith looking for an audible here. And the line resets. Smith takes the snap, drops back to pass, has time, throws down the left side for Matt Baran. He has it at the 40 and still going. Across the 30 and brought down near the 20. A huge play on 3rd and long. And Fordham has life on this drive once again.
Another massive passing play for this offense. If you're a receiver or tight end getting open for this Fordham offense, Gunnar Smith is going to find you. His vision has been fantastic all evening long. That was just the most recent example.
Quickly down the field go the Rams. They get to the line in no time. 13:39 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Pass to the left with a blocker in front. And he gets a couple
does the Fordham receiver Jack Benton.
Yeah, now finding themselves in the red zone. Fordham needs to cash in here, keeping this game close. Down 13, as you said, touchdown would work wonders for this Fordham team, confidence-wise and just on the scoreboard.
6-yard gain. 2nd and 4.
Second down and 4, ticking near 13 minutes flat. Gunnar Smith takes the snap and hands it off to Ricky Parks up the middle. Parks banging bodies through the middle of the Monmouth defense. And Fordham gets another first down close to the 10-yard line, and it will be 1st and goal.
Big set of downs here for Fordham. They don't want to settle for the field goal. They really want a touchdown in this situation. Find themselves just 10 yards away.
Smith in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the right, Jack Benton to the left, with Ricky Parks still in there, offset to the left. Smith takes the shotgun snap and drops back to pass. He's pressured and throws high to a man on the right side.
Yeah, couldn't quite locate.
I believe there's some laundry, yeah.
Yeah, some laundry on the field.
It's going to be a flag intended receiver Jabril Carter, but I believe there may be a hold. Could be a defensive holding here.
I believe it'll be defensive.
So DPI. So I thought it was pass interference last time. It was holding. Now I thought it was holding. It's pass interference. I guess we know I shouldn't be a ref.
Happens.
12:31 to go. Clock stopped because of the flag, and Fordham has a fresh set of downs, but now from the Monmouth 5, 1st down and goal. Trailing by 13.
Taking advantage of Monmouth mistakes. Going to try and punch it in now.
2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Running back offset to the left is Jamel James. Fakes the handoff and throws high in the end zone. He had a man. Troy Worrell was open, but fired too fast and too high. And that, if you heard that groan in the stands, that was because an arc of lightning just shot across the sky right in front of me and Chris's eyes. And I don't know if anyone on the field really cared to notice. So they'll continue, but just keep in mind that there was forecasted to be lightning in the area before this game. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 on the left. He hands it off to Jamel James, who tries to go up the middle, but he's brought down for no gain, really, and that'll bring up 3rd down, and I think about 7.
You have to think in these high-leverage spots, that run up the middle, the inside zone type play, if it continues to not work in the way that it has been so far this evening, do you really want to waste plays on it, especially in such important spots like that one?
Fordham still trying to find the end zone here. 3 minutes gone in the 3rd quarter. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Running back offset to his right is Jamel James. He tosses one up into the back of the end zone. It's caught, but was he in bounds? No! That's the 2nd call this game. A close call in the end zone, but he's called that he could not keep his feet in bounds. It's going to be 4th down and goal, and the Boo Birds are out here in the Bronx. The fans did not like that one.
Tucker, the 2nd jaw-dropping catch in the back of the end zone on both respective end zones that hasn't counted. Brutal.
And in a 2-score game, nonetheless. That's 2 scores that could have existed.
Yeah.
And they will take a look at it, though. So this is interesting. The referees, I believe without there being a challenge thrown, they are going to take another look at that scoring play.
Coach Joe Conlon looks very confident on the sideline.
I would say, but if between those 2 plays, I would say this second one looked more like a touchdown.
He really looked like he was in the end zone.
He reeled the ball in, rather, I should say, and kind of fell on top of his D-back, but in the back left corner of the end zone, and it looked like they honestly both fell in the end zone. We'll see what the decision is. Might keep it right here because who knows how long they'll be at. I think they're right here on the 10-yard line in front of us, Chris, with a small monitor.
Official crew got to take time with this one. A vital call in this matchup has a lot of stakes in how this matchup will end up.
Yeah, the first drive of the second half, and they're deciding whether or not it results in a touchdown. This could swing all the momentum either in the direction of Monmouth or in the direction of Fordham. Of course, Fordham still would have work to do, but Monmouth Fordham blocked that extra point, so if they get a score here and the extra point, they're within 6.
Yeah, very similarly all night. It wasn't a melodic, slow anticipation up the field. It was one big play, and that was one big play with the arm of Gunnar Smith, getting them onto the other side of the field near the red zone. Can they punch in on the big opportunity? That's the question. Touchdown here would be vital, and it looks like there might be one.
The Fordham sideline looks very confident.
Seems like they may have just been told.
But the offense is still... wait, I don't know if that's the offense.
It's not.
No, that's the kicking team.
Matt Perron throwing a little confusion in there.
Yeah, it threw me off a little bit, but that is a Fordham touchdown. Unbelievable. A great play. After the review, 34-27 is now the score in favor of Monmouth, waiting on the extra point.
And the review dampers the moment 100%, but a fantastic play in the back of the end zone, and this Fordham offense needed it. They're going to have some much-needed momentum going into the rest of this game, in which they're going to need to keep up with this high-powered Monmouth offense that really has shown no signs, Tucker, of stopping.
Excellent find by Gunnar Smith on that play.
Gunnar Smith's had some really impressive balls today, especially long range. Some of those deep balls have really been impressive. His placement has been near perfect on a lot of balls today.
And it's interesting is the game. Oh, here we go. We got a call. And there it is. Referees told us a little bit after we knew it, but touchdown for the Rams. Troy Worrell on the catch. And the extra point is up and a line drive, but it's good. 34-28, Bennett Henderson with the kick. Again, it was Troy Worrell on the reception, the freshman out of White Plains, New York, a local kid.
And you've heard a lot of good things about the quarterback for the Rams, Gunnar Smith, all evening long. That may have just been his best drive in maroon so far. Really efficient, getting up the field quickly, and when they needed it the most. Now just a one-score game, and we're right back, Tucker, to where we were before. A knockout, drag-out, close affair that may go to the final play.
Fordham could use a big stop, a la the James Conway sack from the first half, to give them a shot to now take the lead with an extra point.
And you can't ask for too much.
No, you can't. But I mean that blocked extra point. You go down 2 scores after the touchdown, right? It's a real punch in the jaw to go down by 2, and especially the way touchdowns have been scored in this game. But Fordham had, like you called it out yourself, Fordham had the wherewithal and the aggressiveness to break through on the extra point to go up 14 and deny it, and now it puts them in an excellent position here.
And now switching our attention to the defense. You just mentioned him briefly, James Conway. He's going to be the guy in the middle of this defense, and if he goes, they go. And this Fordham defense needs to go.
Bennett Henderson kicks it off, and it will go through the end zone for a touchback. 11:50 on the clock here in quarter number 3. Monmouth with the ball and a 6-point lead, and they'll have it at their own 20. Fordham defense is out there ready and raring to go for their first snaps.
We saw
of the second half.
Earlier in the game, in the first half, Jalen Dawson going down, the middle linebacker for Fordham. He's back out there, him and James Conway, the two Mike linebackers in the middle. Truly have been sealing it up all night long, especially in tandem with that D-line. The inside running for Monmouth almost been non-existent, similarly to the Fordham offense.
Yeah, Berkeley and Cloudy Robinson have been doing excellent work tonight. Derek Robertson in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the left and a running back there with him. And it's a trick play on the fake jet sweep. He tossed it back to back to Robertson, who then fired downfield, and he found a connection for a first down.
Yeah, Monmouth offense finds their lead dwindling, and they get creative to start the drive. Nice drive starter, as my father would say, getting them now past the 30 to the 35.
Quick tempo, and in this time it's going to be a jet sweep. TJ Spate is loose. You got to watch out for him in the open field as well. And he gets another chunk yard. Back-to-back, at least 15-yard plays for the Monmouth Hawks.
You said it, Tucker. Open space and Spate, truly the worst nightmare for this Fordham defense.
Tempo again. Shotgun again. Trips left with a wide receiver on the right. And they throw to the trips, but it's low. They tried to do a wide receiver screen out there, but the ball went right between the receiver's legs.
I've seen wide receiver screens from both of these teams so far. They've had a mixed bag of success. That one not successful. And now Monmouth in another spot at midfield. They're in a downage set where they can get past the 50, really put themselves in a good spot.
At the Fordham the Fordham 43 already. And it's another screen pass, a wide receiver screen to the right. He's hit hard, but Josh Derry getting a little bit of open space, and he finds a 9-yard gain.
Tucker, it's a veteran move of mine on college football. If the play doesn't work on one side, flip it over, run it on the other side. They did it there, and they did it well.
Third down, but a short yardage, 3rd and 2. It's going to be a handoff to Nelson. He goes up the middle. The D-line swallowed him up. That's going to be a first down. The line judge, says move the chains.
Just getting that first down, but more good work from the Fordham D-line, not letting big chunk plays happen from the run and really limiting the run game in general. Now first down.
Yeah, first down and 10 as we await the chains to move. They're still not moving, and now here they go. So the chains on the move. Monmouth ready to get going again.
Monmouth been moving the chains all evening long.
They're moving them faster than the crew can move.
Truly. Literally.
Derek Robertson in the shotgun, wide receiver on the right and on the left with Nelson, the running back. And he's going to fire deep into the end zone down the left sideline, but a little long and a little high. Also into double coverage as well. Maybe a designed throw there. I feel like he knew exactly where he was going.
Yeah, I like the confidence. I like the chutzpah, as I said before, to throw that ball, but Spate finds himself in double coverage. Hard to find any success in a play like that.
Derek Robertson still has his running back, Rodney Nelson, back there. Offset to the right, wide receiver on the right and the left with a tight end in motion from right to left as well. It's going to be a handoff to Rodney Nelson. He finds a hole on the left side near the 30-yard line. He lunged across the 30 and gets to the Fordham, we'll call it the 27.
Keeps moving steadily. That's the name of the game for this Monmouth offense. Just these small chunks eventually get them all the way down the field.
Another 3rd and 4. It's power up the middle for Rodney Nelson. And I believe that's going to be 4th down. They bring him up short, but it's really just a yard, maybe a half yard.
And Tucker, they're on the Fordham side of the field. If what I've learned so far this evening is to be true, I think the offense is staying out there.
Easily field goal range, I would say, inside the 25 of Fordham, but they're going for it. Wide receiver on the right, wide receiver on the left, couple of motion men left to right. Rodney Nelson in the backfield with Derek Robertson. Robertson motions his wide receiver from the left down to the line of scrimmage and now hands it off to Nelson, but he's popped at the 25, and they mark him short. It's a huge 4th down stand for the Fordham Rams. 8:40 to go. Fordham's getting the ball back down 6.
Coaches and players on the Fordham sideline pumped up, and rightfully so. Once again, Monmouth refusing to just take the points with the field goal and deciding to go for it. Fordham finally making a stand, and maybe the biggest stop of the night so far.
I know that James Conway stop looked pretty, but that one was hard-nosed football and right when they needed it too. And the defense has been playing really solid all night, despite, Monmouth has 34 points on the scoreboard, but that's not really indicative of how this Fordham defense has played.
No, absolutely not. And from a momentum perspective, I know Monmouth's in the lead right now, but Fordham seems very much ahead when it comes to momentum. This Fordham team feeling themselves on both sides of the ball right now.
And with that, we will take our first break of the second half. 8:40 to go in the third quarter. Monmouth 34, Fordham 28, and you're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's Tucker Austin, one of WFUV Sports' New York Yankees beat reporters in 2025. Aaron Judge and company are hungry to return to the Fall Classic to avenge their defeat last season. Follow me on X at @TAustin_24 for live game updates, video recaps, and more as the Bronx Bombers chase their 28th World Series championship. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New York Yankees.
And we welcome you back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field, where the Fordham Rams, after a huge fourth down stop deep in their own territory, now have possession of the football, starting at I believe they're around their own 25, but with a 6-point deficit, chasing Monmouth with a chance, if they score here, to take the lead.
This Fordham offense with a score and a stop on their back. Can Gunnar Smith complete the comeback here? 2-score deficit going into the half, and now after a score and a stop, this game is a whole lot different, Tucker.
Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, running back to his left, a wide receiver to the right on the near side. Far side has a pair of wideouts. Smith takes the snap, and it's going to be a handoff for the opening play of this drive. About 2, maybe 3 yards there for Jamel James.
Maybe not quite the drive starter as the last Monmouth possession, but a decent one just to get the feet moving, just to get forward. Going to maybe expect a pass play here or the next play.
3 wideouts again, 2 on the left, 1 on the right. Fake handoff this time. He's pressured in the pocket, fires over the middle, but it's a little low, and it's incomplete as the receiver had to go down to try and get that one. It was Jack Betton.
Yeah, Betton went down, still hit him in the numbers, though. It's still a decent pass from Gunnar Smith. Can't be complaining about the throws he's made so far this evening.
Certainly not a majority of them.
Yeah.
Smith in the shotgun again. 3 wide receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Jamel James still the running back. And he moves from the right side to the left side of Gunnar Smith. Takes the snap, drops back to pass, looking right, throwing right. And he has a man. It's incomplete, but there are flags on the ground. My guess here, Chris, would be defensive pass interference.
Gunnar Smith gingerly limping there after the play. Got hit on his bottom half from the Monmouth D-line on the throw. Fordham offensive line done a good job of protecting him all evening long. The first time he's really taken a big hit, and seems like he's a little affected.
Smith seemingly a little shaken up. However, he's still out there and
the result of the penalty is a Fordham first down.
Still leading his team. Although it was kind of a weird, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Is the Fordham, you see the Fordham offense was convinced that Jack Benton had made the catch. So they were going down to take their field position and then some with the penalty. But however, it's just a 15-yarder from the original spot.
That would have been a game changer.
First and 10 from the Fordham 44.
And so first down and 10 from the Fordham 44-yard line. It is Gunnar Smith in the shotgun with wide receivers stacked on the far side and on the near side. Near the sidelines with a running back to his right. Smith takes a low snap and picks it up, but now he's going to make something out of nothing. He scrambles on the play. There is a flag behind him, but Gunnar Smith dives forward for about 8.
Tucker, couldn't have described it better myself. Making something out of nothing. It's something Gunnar Smith's done all evening long. Plays that may go terribly, that he just turns into something productive.
And it seems like it might be against the Fordham Rams as they are moving backwards, but both teams kind of in a standoff here. And it's going to be holding against the offense. So 10 yards, and Fordham, after moving forward on the penalty, will move right back.
A lot of that tonight from both offenses, big plays and then having to come back due to small mistakes. Flags for both of these offenses have been problems they would love to iron out.
Seems the rain has finally arrived, although that flash of phantom lightning didn't seem to bring anything with it.
Large assortment of umbrellas under us.
Yeah.
All shapes and sizes.
Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers on both sides. Fakes the handoff and now throws to the right, and there's the flag. So I was going to wait for it because I knew it was coming, but that's going to be defensive pass interference there. Intended target was Troy Worrell, who caught the last Fordham touchdown, and he was dragged to the ground on that play.
It seems like both sides of the ball here, Monmouth defense, Fordham offense, making mistakes, helping out each other, and it's been a bit of a tug of war. Fordham coming out on the better end of it now on the positive side of the 50-yard line.
Yeah, a bit of a back and forth drive here, but Fordham now finally across midfield to the Monmouth 48. First down and 10, 7:41 to go in the third quarter. Gunnar Smith takes the shotgun snap with 2 wide receivers on both sides. He dumps it off for Jamel James, who makes a couple of men miss. A huge block from Jack Benton, and that gives him way more yards. Across the 25 and tackled down at the 21. A big play in the passing game out of the backfield for Jamel James.
Perfectly timed juke moves in the second level for Jamel James. Give him that boost he needed to get all those yards. Big chunky yards for the Fordham offense. They are moving.
Gunnar Smith looking for his sideline and looking for his calls. Matt Baran comes on, and it looks like coming off will be Troy Worrell. So Fordham going with a little bit of extra size on this formation. Baran goes out wide. There's 2 wide receivers on the left and 2 on the right. Man in motion. And Gunnar Smith fakes the throw. He's nearly brought down behind the line of scrimmage, but he has to go to the ground to save his own health. He gets about 3 yards there on another odd play, but more of Gunnar Smith using the legs a little bit.
If he could have turned that into something, I would have really been impressed. His improvising has been what's most impressive this evening, finding ways to see that something might not be there and then changing at the last second. His improvisation has been fantastic tonight.
He had the opening touchdown of the game on a rushing play on the keeper, so we'll see if he uses his legs anymore. 2 wide receivers on the right, bunched up. 2 on the left, a little bit wider. Takes the shotgun snap, looking to pass. Pocket collapses, and he's brought down as he tries to escape. Third time is not the charm on the scramble for Gunnar Smith as he gets wrapped up at the line.
Yeah, and a collapsed pocket, a rare sight for this Fordham offense this evening. The offensive line's done a good job handling this D-line of the Monmouth Hawks that time. They just weren't quick enough, and Gunnar Smith swallowed up.
Jamel James off on 3rd down and 7. Ricky Parks on, trips left, 1 wide receiver on the right near the sideline. Monmouth showing 1 high safety. Smith takes the shotgun snap, looks left, throws left. He has a man at the 10. There's 2 flags, though.
3 flags.
Might be 3. Don't need to check the replay on that, but regardless, there's a flag on someone. The catch was made there by Noden Tracy, but we'll see. And it is going to come back, so.
That one on Freeberg.
Yeah, penalty there on Freeberg. Didn't quite hear it, but I think it was something in the realm of a holding or an offensive pass interference. That's usually
not
what it is.
Not happy with it either.
No, they are not. I mean, Noden Tracy was pretty much, he was 2 or 3 steps from the end zone, and they brought that one back. So now, in this rubber band drive for the Fordham Rams, they're now back at the Monmouth 33. 5:11 to go in the third quarter. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun on one of Fordham's longest drives, if not their longest drive of the night. Trips left, wide receiver on the right. And it's going to be a handoff there. A handoff with a fake throw. Another flag comes in. Ricky Parks on the run for a little over 15 yards, I would say. Maybe about 10 or 12, but there's another flag here.
Yeah, Ricky Parks inside zone on 3rd and long. Didn't expect to convert there, but ended up being pretty productive and garnering a flag. See if they can get the first down with this flag.
Seems like they're explaining it to the defense, so
many flags on this drive.
A lot of flags in this drive alone. After the game did not have a lot of flags, but now they're coming out in force. Another offensive holding.
Replay 3rd down.
This time, I believe he said 16. That would be Michael Doctor.
Going to be a 3rd and 22 once again.
Brings the ball to the 37.
Smith, shotgun.
3rd and 26, my mistake.
Trips left on 3rd and 26. One wide receiver on the right. He's looking left all day, and he got, oh no! Gunnar Smith got hit as he threw in the pocket, and it is intercepted by Monmouth on the tipped ball. I didn't quite see who grabbed it, although I'd have to think it's the linebacker Ryan Russo who saw that ball get tipped up in the air and just jumped up and grabbed it.
Yeah, Trey McLean was around the play as well. Just great, in general, ball skills from this Monmouth defense, taking advantage of a ball that was very precarious. Seemed to float through their defense forever.
So Fordham, after a very long, very arduous drive of back and forth, penalty on the defense, penalty on the offense, the drive finally ends, but not with a score as Fordham would have liked after the stop, no less, on 4th down. And instead, Monmouth with a huge play to get the ball back, and they will try to put some more points on the board with 4:40 left in the third quarter, but we'll take a quick break. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the hosts of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
Welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field. The third quarter has gone like a blur compared to the first half, Chris. I don't know if you feel the same, but
yeah, definitely.
After Fordham opened the scoring in the second half with a Trey Worrell touchdown, thrown by Gunnar Smith, of course, the Monmouth Hawks then got the ball back, drove down the field. Fordham gets a big stop on 4th down, and then an interception. The second one in 2 weeks. However, this one I would not say is anywhere close to Gunnar Smith's fault.
No, not his fault, and even if it is, it wasn't something that felt out of the realm of possibility. A long third down there, as you said very eloquently, an arduous drive for the Fordham Rams. A lot of flags on both sides. That one felt like a tug-of-war watching them go up and down the field. Eventually, it's stopping in the way it did. Now the Monmouth offense, still with the lead they had, that 6-point lead, going to try and go up 2 scores once again, the second time this evening.
So it is Derek Robertson on the other side of the interception. Robertson puts a man in motion. It's Derry, and he hands it off to the motion man, Derry, and he's loose. He gets by a man across the 40s, pushed out of bounds, gets to the 43-yard line, and that'll bring up second and mid.
Yeah, Monmouth offense, the small chunks, it's what they've kind of gotten successful for all evening long, continuing to do it in this drive.
2nd down and 4. Quick snap, 2 wide receivers on the left. He goes to the left, does Robertson, finds a man again for a short yardage play, but it moves the chains, and Monmouth are on the 50.
Monmouth on the 50, continuing to move. This is the consistent offense we've seen from Monmouth all evening long, and this is when they really need it.
1st and 10 from the 50.
Robertson shotgun, a wide receiver on the right, 2 stacked up on the left, with that tight end acting as a fullback just behind the line of scrimmage. It's a pass here. He goes to the running back Nelson out of the backfield after the play action on the left side, and he's brought down by a couple of Fordham defenders for a gain of 8, 2nd down and 2.
Yeah, a lot of room in the flat for him to work there. As good of a first down play as you can have, setting up 2nd and short.
And James Conway. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
James Conway was in there on the stop, one of the 2 Fordham hats on the football. Derek Robertson shotgun again. Running back Rodney Nelson offset to the right. 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left. He fires right, low, and it's going to be incomplete, actually. The intended receiver there was Josh Derry.
Now this sets up a big play, Tucker. 3rd and 3 for this Monmouth offense. They want to continue to drive. They do not want to punt. They don't want to give the ball back to Fordham here. And a big 3rd down for this group.
Fordham's defense looking for a tackle for loss here.
Tucker, are they in 2-down territory?
I think so.
They could be.
The way they've played this game.
They're past the 50, so
Derek
maybe.
Robertson shotgun. Motion man is Derry. Wide receiver on the right and now 2 on the left. Play action and throws left. It's Derry. They always seem to go to him when he's the one in motion, and it's another third down conversion, first down Monmouth.
Tucker, they didn't need 2 downs there. Derry with almost Randy Moss-like stat line at halftime, and is continuing some of that great work this evening right there. Big first down.
Shotgun again, 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left. It's a fake handoff. He goes deep down the field, down the left sideline, and it's going to be incomplete.
Good defense, good pickup on the double team in the secondary. Really had no chance for the receiver to come down with that one.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Josh Derry and TJ Spite are the ones having the huge nights tonight, but they didn't even outgain Gavin Nelson in receiving last week. So it's interesting to see how the whole offense is starting to blossom for Monmouth.
Yeah.
Derek Robertson in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left. He throws left to that lone wide receiver after he got a couple of blockers out to block for him, and it's going to be another decent gain.
Gavin Nelson on the catch there. One of 3 receivers last week, as I mentioned in the open, over 100 yards. First time in franchise history, and they've gotten a hell of a lot of yards today, too.
Yet another third down. They go quickly, though, with a 2 wide receiver set on the left, and there's another stop by the Fordham defense. 3 players got through the offensive line, and they took down Rodney Nelson in no time. I don't think it was a TFL. However, it is 4th and 3.
Massive stop for Fordham, but the job's not done. Offense is still out there. They're going to go for it on 4th and 3. Let's see if the defense can get a stop.
The rain is coming down. The lights are shining off of the silver helmets of Monmouth as Derek Robertson takes a shotgun snap here on 4th and 3. Derry the motion man. 2 wideouts on the left, 1 on the right. Back to pass. Fires quickly. It's Derry. He's brought down, but he has the first down. Yet another 4th down conversion for the Hawks.
And Derry again, just on those out routes right toward the sideline. So good in those small spaces of making the catch, getting his feet down, and getting the chains moving for his Hawks.
Derry's still out there. He'll line up on the right side. There's 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left, and a running back, Nelson, offset to the left of Robertson. Robertson moves Derry again from right to left. Derry in the slot, back to pass, and finds a man. The over-the-shoulder catch at the 5, and it's a touchdown! Monmouth scores! Derek Robertson finds Rodney Nelson out of the backfield for the score, and Monmouth takes a 40-28 lead.
Tucker, that was a fantastic play all round. The throw was great. The catch was great. Everything was great. What a way to go up 2 scores for the Hawks.
This was the result they were looking for on the last drive after Fordham opened the half with a score. 58 seconds remain on the clock here in the third quarter as time has really started to fly in this second half. And they're going to take another look at it, which is probably the right decision there. As it seemed like when he made that catch, he kind of fell on the 5 and then rolled into the end zone. And then the touchdown call almost looked like an NFL call, where it was like, sure, he got there, not down by contact.
Yeah, we'll get to the specifics during the review. A fantastic play by Monmouth. Nothing taking away from that. A big chunk play regardless. And this Fordham defense needs to bucker down, especially outside of that defensive line. The defensive line, they've been able to shut things down. But outside of that, at the linebacker level, Conway's done his thing. But in general, that second level has been easy to infiltrate, and especially the cornerbacks, the defensive backs. In general, secondary has been way too easily infiltrated, and it's led to a lot of yards tonight.
And Rodney Nelson's brother, Gavin, I know he's probably seething on that sideline, the wide receiver of the two of them, but it's the running back who gets the first passing touchdown, or receiving touchdown, I should say, in this game.
Yeah, Rodney, 22 carries, 170 yards, 7.7 yards a carry last week. That goes with 2 touchdowns. And his brother, Gavin Nelson, 5 receptions, 176 yards, 35 yards an attempt, and 3 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns between the brothers, and a lot of yards.
Now, that is a Randy Moss stat line.
Truly.
5 catches, 3 of them were touchdowns.
Truly. Derry, Spate, and Nelson, the 3 I mentioned earlier, going for over 100 yards last week. And all 3 still continuing the job this week, going in, keeping that momentum from last week. All that momentum they built up from just how great and how efficient that offense was, especially in the second half. And it's translated all the way to the Bronx here this weekend.
Yeah, tonight, Derry has 141 yards on 9 catches, and 3 touchdowns. It's 64 yards on 5 catches for Gavin Nelson, and then Rodney Nelson right behind him. Overturned. Interesting. So, no touchdown. Bring it back to the half-yard line, I think he said, which is going to be interesting for this Fordham front. We'll see if they can somehow mount a goal line stand here from the half-yard line, 1st and goal for Monmouth.
This would be character building. This goal line
Wildcat.
stand.
The Wildcat comes back out. Derek
go.
Robertson is a wide receiver right now, far on the right side of the field. The direct snap comes to the running back, Rodney Nelson. He's powering over the line, but he is brought down at the line of scrimmage, 2nd down.
He made impact initially and then had a second burst to try and reach over the line. Thought he got it, didn't. But more creative play calling in really serious spots for this Monmouth team. Like the Wildcat, like the creativity.
He really kept his legs moving on that last play, trying to churn forward, but Fordham's defense like a wall, not letting anything by.
Yep.
And so now it seems they're back under center, but there goes the quarterback. It's another Wildcat snap straight to Nelson, and he is bodied at the line of scrimmage. Again, the Fordham D-line standing strong, and that brings up 3rd and goal from the half-yard line.
Yeah, another strong stand from this D-line of Fordham. They've had a lot to write home about this evening. This goal line stand may be the biggest if they could pull it off.
But we will have to wait, Chris, until the start of the 4th for that one because the 3rd quarter ticks to a close. And as the 3rd quarter has come and gone, Monmouth leads 34-28. Before we head to the 4th quarter, we send you once more to the Rose Hill studio for the one-on-one scoreboard with Derek Beaulieu.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The NFL season started with the Cowboys in Philadelphia facing the reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles. Lightning struck, Dak was spit on, and everyone who drafted CeeDee Lamb in the 1st round broke their TVs as the Eagles beat the Cowboys 24-20. Moving in outside the U.S., the reigning Super Bowl losing Chiefs and their division rival Chargers head down to sunny Sao Paulo, Brazil in a face-off that saw Justin Herbert outperform Patrick Mahomes, throwing for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and coming out with the win 27-21, disappointing Swifties everywhere. Back to the States, your New York Jets travel to Pittsburgh to start their season in a game against the Steelers and their former quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. tomorrow. At the same time, the Giants make their way to the capital city to take on the sophomore sensation Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Russell Wilson gets the starting quarterback role for New York as the Giants look to develop Jackson Dart into their quarterback of the future. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Derek Beaulieu.
And thank you very much, Derek, for that one-on-one scoreboard. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino with you from Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York, where what was a shootout of a first half has turned into a real slog of a second half, and especially both defenses really hardening up in this half.
A slog, Tucker, but an entertaining slog nonetheless. It's been back and forth. This game still one score. See the ponchos on the cheer team and the dance team. Obviously, the elements have changed as this evening has gone along, but both teams holding strong. We're going to see now if this Fordham D-line can complete what would definitely be their biggest accomplishment of the evening, by far.
And they keep stacking plays on top of the next. There was the Conway sack on 3rd down. Then there was the 4th down stand that eventually, unfortunately, led to the interception. But now they find themselves in another chance. Very high leverage scenario as well. First play of the 4th quarter, and they can bring up another 4th down.
And the stop would be massive. The stop would be huge, especially if they go for it on 4th down, which they've shown to be doing in the past, and especially this entire evening. But just in general, this D-line's done a great job all evening. This would truly be the gem in their crown. And just in general, holding them here, if you could hold them without any points, including a field goal, you put your offense in just the best spot.
Just to recap, since we're going into the 4th quarter, It's been a Gunnar Smith rushing touchdown, a Josh Derry receiving touchdown, Jabril Carter receiving touchdown, Josh Derry receiving touchdown, TJ Spate receiving touchdown, Jack Benton receiving touchdown, TJ Spate receiving touchdown, Josh Derry receiving touchdown, and then a Troy Woyle touchdown, the only one of the second half so far.
And now here we go, Tucker. The stage is set.
Derek Robertson, who has been having a solid game, over 330 yards, as they go with seemingly, it looks like a tush-push look there from Monmouth on the goal line.
Still pushing.
Still pushing. No signal yet.
There's hands in both directions.
Both teams holding their hands up. I still can't see the referee.
I believe it's going to be a touchdown for Monmouth.
And yep, that's a touchdown for Monmouth. The Monmouth half of the stands started going crazy, so they finally get into the end zone. I believe, unless they handed it off, that's probably going to be a Derek Robertson rushing touchdown. Although they were using plenty of Wildcats, so there was a whole mess of bodies. I couldn't see who had the football. Either way, it's 40-28 Monmouth.
And Tucker, you knew with half a yard that was going to be a scrum. It was going to be a dogfight around the goal line, and Monmouth came out on top. 2-score lead now, Tucker.
They're going to go for 2 here after they missed the extra point on their last touchdown. And it's going to be a throw here over the shoulder from Derek Robertson, and he was hyped up going to the sideline.
I was about to say, Derek Robertson running over to his coaches, amped up, rightfully so. What a pass.
And I believe it was none other than Josh Derry on the reception for the 2-point conversion. So going back to the hot hand tonight, and Monmouth rebuilds their lead.
A lot of guys have good games. He's having a great game. That was the cherry on top. You set yourself back by missing an extra point earlier and having to go for it later, having to go for 2 later. But if you can convert like that, you might as well.
It's back to a 14-point lead with 14:52 as the kickoff teams head back out onto the field. Plenty of fourth quarter left in this one. There's a flag. There is a completely random flag that just came out with absolutely nothing going on. And I think it's going to be against Jack Benton. Jack Benton is getting a talking to right now from the line judge, or from the field judge, Antonio Burt. His flag is still on the field. I'm really just not sure. I think it might be a delay of game against Fordham again.
Another delay of game.
Which I really don't. This is something else.
On the defense and as the receiving team. 2 places you won't really receive a delay of game. Bizarre.
So Monmouth will be kicking from the Fordham 50 on this kickoff. Really odd penalties on the Fordham Rams. I'm not going to say, in a 2-score game, I'm not going to say that they're the entire difference, but there have been some odd penalties called and odd no calls.
They make a difference, 1,000%. Lewis and Rodriguez back there to receive it. Not sure if they're even going to have a chance on it with how this one is set up at the 50.
He might put this one right through the uprights. And the kickoff, is a squib. Interesting tactics there. It's going to be received at the 10 by Lewis. And he's wrapped up at the 19, falls forward to the 20.
Seemed to work.
Probably a smart play there.
Yeah.
By Hudson Feen or by whoever called the squib.
We've seen a lot of fireworks tonight, just trying to limit any sort of opportunity for a big play. Smart there on the Monmouth side.
They have really fine-tuned their special teams play, have the Monmouth Hawks. Really, they know exactly what they're going to do in every situation. They don't just run out there and kick it off and, like, say, just go crack heads down the field or something. They have a plan when they go out to kick off. And not every team does that, because some teams look past the kickoffs.
They've been really special in a lot of ways. The Hawks this evening, special teams is maybe the most special.
Gunnar Smith has 2 wide receivers stacked on the right and 1 on the left, with running back Jamel James in the backfield. Drops back to pass, fires deep down the left sideline. Nearly brought in there by Jack Benton, but it is incomplete. Couldn't survive the ground.
Thought there was a lot of contact there as well. Gunnar Smith unloading once again. We've seen a few of those be successful this evening, but even more of them not successful.
That ball traveled more than 50 yards in the air from the arm of Gunnar Smith. He's been showing it off all night.
And we said at the beginning of the game with his legs, a real dual threat for this Fordham team.
Still looking for more points are the Fordham Rams and Gunnar Smith. He has stacked wide receivers on the left and right, 2 on each side. He goes to the right, and he has a man, gets across the 25, and tries to fight towards the 30, but he's pushed out of bounds at the 27.
And obviously, a 14-point game, 14 minutes left. This drive is pivotal for the Fordham success this evening.
Jabril Carter with the last gain. Call it 6.
Jamel James back in the backfield.
3rd down and about 4. Gunnar Smith has a running back to his right, 2 wide receivers on the right and on the left. Drops back to pass, fires over the middle. It's incomplete. And there's a late flag. There's multiple, 3 late flags. They came in one after the other, all of them late, well after the play, but this might be on the hit.
It was fantastic
on the
defense
ball
from the secondary of Monmouth.
It was good defense until the contact was
Maybe
made.
the defense was too good. Maybe that was what it was.
Maybe perhaps defense for a different era.
So
Chris.
good that it was illegal. Yeah, for a different era.
Flags still on the field. They're all sitting on the 32-yard line of the Hawks, or of the Rams, excuse me. 13:58 to go, and the referees are still... Yeah, targeting.
Wow.
So they just called targeting, and they're going to have to review this one to see if this gets confirmed. I think that's the targeting rule in college now. They always look at it when they call it, and they review it for whether or not it is targeting. But while they look at this targeting play with 13:58 to go in the 4th quarter, 42-28, Monmouth has the lead, but Gabby Price has some more for us from the sidelines. Gabby?
Thanks, Tucker and Chris. Well, I want to talk about the Fordham offense too, but first I have a weather update for you guys. It did, in fact, start raining almost immediately after I left the last time I was on, so maybe I jinxed it, but I'm happy to report the fans came prepared. There's a sea of umbrellas in the audience, something you love to see as a Ram fan, as being part of the Ramley. People are here, they're ready to go. But getting back to this Fordham offense, as you guys have been calling throughout the game, they've been passing the ball a lot, and until the past couple minutes, it's generally been working out. After possession earlier in the quarter, Coach Eselta walked off the field with the offense saying, receivers rest, Waters, we're good, we're running the offense, and that's true, but the next goal for them, make the offense and plays count. Smith might be getting the looks, but they need to make them count if they want to get back in this game tonight. Tucker and Chris, back to you.
And thanks very much, Gabby. Not sure if you will hear from her again in this game, unless there's some kind of an update to be had within the last 14 minutes. But either way, great work there from Gabby Price as we await this targeting review. It looked a little questionable on the field live when they came across.
Questionable too.
When a linebacker, especially like nowadays, surely before the rule existed, no one was looking for these plays. But now, because we live in a world where targeting exists, I see a linebacker and a receiver coming across the field towards each other, and all I'm thinking is just don't let the receiver go low. If the receiver goes low, the defender can't really do anything other than like get out of his way, because otherwise he's going to hit him in the head.
Yeah, puts you in a precarious spot for sure, in a dangerous spot as well. Always scared by those kind of plays, and just in general, like I said, the good defense being played led up to that as well. Guys moving fast, it's a recipe for disaster.
Another reference to the Eagles and Cowboys opener for the NFL season. Remember the Reed Blankenship targeting penalty in the end zone? That was questionable at best, at least in my opinion, because of just momentum and how their bodies were moving. This could be a similar situation here, but this is also why they have the reviews, Chris, because they take a look at it, and if it's honestly not targeting, or if it's not forceful contact with the crown of the helmet, it will be overturned, and that player will get to stay in the game. It is an ejection if you are called for targeting.
Yeah. Less than 14 minutes left to go in this game. Can't have an ejection on the Monmouth defense. That would really be an issue for this Monmouth defense in a time where they need stops more than ever. And just in general, they had the great momentum of getting the stop there, and this would just put a wrench into those plans.
Interestingly enough, this is not the first time that Monmouth has had good special teams play, specifically against the Fordham Rams. I can't be sure about the rest of the games that they play, but the fearless leader, Mr. Joe Henry, is, we'll say he's in my ear. He told me that Monmouth had 2 kickoff return touchdowns versus Fordham in their game last year. So a place that Monmouth has found out they can expose against the Rams and continue to do so tonight.
And they see the value in special teams. There specifically, it's 2 touchdowns. That's 14 points worth of change made strictly in the special teams. But today we've seen it in more minimal spaces with big plays, big stops, just in general on both sides of the ball, kicking and returning. Monmouth done a great job in their special teams game.
As you said, Chris, 13:58 to go, and I'm not sure. No announcement means likely that the call stood, so I imagine that the player called for targeting is out of the game. I apologize, didn't quite see or hear who it was. But now Fordham will bring the punt unit out on 4th down and 4. High snap. It's nearly blocked again. I think they got another hand on it, but this time it's a favorable bounce for Fordham, and there's flags in the backfield. I think there's going to be a roughing the kicker here. Fordham may have just gotten bailed out on this play.
And for a special teams unit that we've praised endlessly tonight, that is a really bad mistake.
Well, this is the risk that you run when you play aggressively on punt, or when you're the receiving team on a punt. When you try to get after that punter, you got to make sure that you do not touch him. You can try to get your hand on the football, but if you get anywhere close to the punter, you got to get out of the way. This time they make contact, and it's going to cost them.
Yeah.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense number 54. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Yeah, that's a killer.
15-yarder from the previous spot. So Fordham will move on up past the 40, their own 40 that is, to the 42-yard line. Fordham gets a bit of a boost there. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 42. 13:46 to go, and Fordham trails by a pair of touchdowns.
Big for this Fordham team.
Smith in the shotgun, wide receiver to the right, 2 to the left. It's going to be a handoff to Jamel James, who tries to go up the middle, bounces to the left, then cuts and gets about 2. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, Jamel James trying his hardest. You could see the effort from up here in the press box. It's hard to be elusive and make a brick wall miss.
And it'll be 2 wide receivers stacked up on the right, with 1 wide receiver way out to the left on the far side of the field. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun with a running back offset to his left. Takes the snap, hands it off again, but this Monmouth defense is as stout, if not as strong as the Fordham defense. Every run up the middle is met within less than a second after he crosses the line.
Fordham run game really has not gotten anything going this evening, specifically up the middle. Monmouth D-line, maybe the MVP unit of this Monmouth team so far.
And it was something that Coach Conlon said he wanted to focus on, was establishing the run game after they couldn't get it going against Boston College. Fordham has gotten some scoring out of the passing game, but really has not gotten much doing in the rushing game. 2 wide receivers on both sides for Gunnar Smith. Takes the snap, steps up in the pocket, fires to the right. He has a man. It's Jabril Carter for a nice little gain there across midfield and now inside of the Monmouth 40.
Gunnar Smith met with a lot of company in the backfield there. Guys batting down at the ball. He held the ball strongly and delivered a fantastic pass, keeping the chains moving for this Rams offense when they need it most.
They're stacked up on the right again for Fordham, with 1 wide receiver way out on the left. They're on the 39-yard line of Monmouth going in, ticking under 12 minutes now, 11:55. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, running back offset to his left. I believe it's Ricky Parks. Fakes the handoff. And Gunnar Smith is going to be brought down for a sack way back at the 50-yard line. There were 3 Monmouth defenders on that one, and they are hyped up after that big tackle for loss.
Yeah, Lamont just all these guys, Lamont Lester Jr., Josiah Graham, Bryce Rooks, everyone who has had a part in this D-tackle and D-line unit for this Monmouth team has been fantastic tonight.
Well, you teed them up, Chris. Gave them all the praise, and then they made a play.
Yeah, and I was praising them defending the run, but you see it there. They've had trouble getting to Gunnar Smith. They did it fantastically there.
They have not gotten to him that much. Takes the snap, does Gunnar Smith, and he's pressured again. This time the ball may have popped out before he was brought down. Still waiting on a call here.
Lamont Lester Jr., the first name I mentioned pre-play, came in like a freak train into the backfield.
I think he held on to it, and he did. However, a sack back to the 50 and then a sack back to the 40. 2 straight plays losing 10 yards or more, and it's 3rd down and 31.
The Hawks D tackles making a difference here in the fourth quarter.
3 wide to the left, 1 wide to the right. Running back to the right of Gunnar Smith, who is going to have to look deep down the field here. He doesn't. He looks short to the right to Jabril Carter, but it's called incomplete and brings up 4th and 31.
Lamont Lester Jr. in there once again. An extra second holding on to that ball. Gunnar Smith might have gotten sacked 3 times in a row. What a defensive stand from the Monmouth Hawks.
And it's interesting because at the end of the Boston College game, the Fordham offensive line kind of just faded away as time went on, and you just hope that we're not seeing something similar begin to happen here as Gunnar Smith went relatively untouched most of the night. Now 2 sacks in the same drive.
Yeah, that drive specifically, the Monmouth D-line had violence and vengeance on their mind.
Good punt coverage by the Fordham Rams as they bring down the return man right after he catches it. No fair catch. 3 or 4 Fordham Gunners got on him, and he bring him down
at,
I believe, the 17.
Michael Doctor, the long snapper, making that tackle. He's got all his teammates hyped up around him on the sideline. Long snapper's making plays, gets the boys amped up.
It is 42-28. Monmouth Hawks lead the Fordham Rams here in the Bronx. 10:07 to go in the fourth quarter. And we will take a quick break. You're listening to Fordham Football on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? It's Joe Henry, one of your New York Mets beat reporters for the 2025 MLB season. From Soto's slugging to Senga's strikeouts, I'll have you covered from Citi Field all year long. Follow me on X at JoeHenry_4 for exclusive interviews, game day insights, and live coverage of every play. So take a ride on the 7 train with me as the Mets continue their quest for World Series glory. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. The beautiful Rose Hill campus that I called home for 2 years while living here. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino with you. Gabby Price, the 3rd member of our on-site crew. Not sure if we'll hear from her again unless she can put something together in these last 10 minutes. But Fordham is...
Shout out Gabby in the rain all evening.
Yes, she's been braving the elements tonight for us.
See her down there in the windbreaker.
It was it was a scary place to be before this game started with all the really dark clouds. There was lightning in the area for a while.
A lot of uncertainty weather-wise pregame here. We've ended up probably getting one of the best case scenarios weather-wise throughout this game, but still elements nonetheless.
And I think it's really awesome to see too. Gabby mentioned it in her last report that so many fans have stuck it out through the elements, and they came prepared. They knew what was going to happen, and they are here to try and get their Fordham Rams over the line.
I think people expected worse. This has been a pleasant surprise, this rain.
Trailing by 14 are the Rams without the football. The defense going to have to stand on its head again against Derek Robertson's offense. Robertson in the shotgun. Wide receiver to the left and one in motion from the right to the left. He looks left but can't throw it. And so he scrambles forward and slides across the 20. They're going to mark him down at the 20, and it's a gain of 3.
Yeah, it's an efficient couple yards there. Spate in motion as he's been most of the night. Tried to find him initially on the first read, and then Robertson, realizing that wasn't going to work, put his head down, ran up the middle, got a few yards.
And seemingly there is an injured Ram
offensive
on
lineman
the field there. He's sitting right on the 20-yard line, dead in the middle of the hash marks. And it looks like they might take a minute for him to get up. So, how about another quick break? We'll keep Joe on his toes. We'll be right back with more Fordham football on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carrino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
And we welcome you back from the injury timeout to Moglia Stadium. Just one play has now occurred in the last 30 seconds. TJ Spate on the little jet sweep from the motion. He picks up 3 or 4 yards or so.
Now 3rd and 6 here for Monmouth. Fordham trying to get the ball back, still down 2 scores. This is a big conversion for Monmouth to try to get here. Monmouth to try to get here.
3rd down here. The clock will tick under 9 before this snap. 2 wide receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Running back offset to the right is Rodney Nelson. Derek Robertson takes the shotgun snap, drops back to pass, pump fakes, and he's wrapped up and taken down for the sack. Multiple Fordham bodies in there, but I believe it was Claudie Robinson
and Sam
who
Burkle
eventually brought him down.
Yeah, Sam Burkle, who was by committee that one. The D-line had trouble getting in the backfield, especially on those long pass plays. They got it there, and what a time to get to the quarterback.
Fordham Ram has come up hobbling a little bit. He's heading to the sideline. It's going to be Jack Lowe, the D lineman out of Brisbane, Australia.
And Tucker, just because of how deep they are in Fordham in their own territory, I don't think we'll see a 4th down go for it here.
Nearly a blocked punt there, but he does get it away, moving to his right. Fair catch made at the Fordham 43, but another great defensive stand by the Fordham defense, and Fordham gets the ball back once again.
Have you ever seen a game with more close calls on blocked punts than this game? I feel like it's almost every single punt there's almost a block kick.
You know what? I think it has to be the rain, because it's got to be the rain and how far the ball has to travel before it actually gets back to the punter. I doubt they're getting a good grip on the ball or getting the grip that they want fast enough.
Right.
So it's probably giving the D-line an extra second or two to get there. At the same time, the D-lines are probably a little bit more jumpy to get there because they know it's going to take longer. So the combination of both of those things...
Double-edged sword.
Exactly. It brings us to where we are now, where seemingly every other punt is nearly blocked.
Yeah.
But still, Fordham will get the ball back here, down by 2 touchdowns. Still 8 minutes left on the clock, and the way their defense has been playing, this is still easily a tiable game. I would say it's arguably winnable within regulation.
Yeah, winnable. They've still stuck around. Obviously, you'd rather be within 1 score instead of 2 scores, obviously, but Fordham's kept themselves around just enough to where if they play some good football over this next 8 minutes, they can win this game.
Absolutely. Gunnar Smith playing a great Week 2 game in terms of progressing between Week 1 and Week 2. He's up to 337 yards now on the day. Of course, the 2 sacks removed any of his rushing gains, so he's now negative for the rushing yards, but 337 in the passing game on a 54.8% completion percentage. And, of course, the longest play was the 70-yard touchdown to Jack Benton. So a much improved Week 2 compared to Week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Much improved. That's all you can really ask for is improvement week to week. And I think seeing the improvement from just this week to week, that expanding over a full season, this team is going to get a whole lot better.
You like to see Jack Benton at the top of the receiving list. Of course, that touchdown being most of the yardage. He has 81 and 70 was the long. But Matt Baran getting involved as well with his big bomb. It seems like Fordham is spreading the ball around on offense once again, as they tried to do last week. Last week it was a sprinkling of yards. This week it's huge chunk play.
And Tucker, KJ Reed, maybe the first option wide receiver-wise for this Fordham team. Really quiet week 1 and another quiet week 2. Really wondering what's going on with him.
Clearly, the fact that he has not been used in the rest of this game means that after that play when he got a little banged up, it was too bad for him to return to this game. Jacob Rodriguez, the intended target on that play, but it goes incomplete as the cornerback got there, knocked the ball loose.
Quarterback almost caught the ball. Almost a ridiculous play.
He was moving very quickly. Fordham going with the double stack formation. 2 wide receivers, one behind the other on the left. Same thing on the right. Running back offset to the left. A little bit behind Gunnar Smith. Smith takes the shotgun snap, goes to the left, but a great tackle there. 2 yards after the line of scrimmage. And that'll bring up second down. No, make it 3rd down and 8.
Big conversion for this Fordham offense. Not quite on the right side of the 50 that they want to be on. This would be a conversion that keeps them in the game.
3rd and 7. It's probably 4-down territory.
Definitely.
And it'll be a handoff here to Jamel James, I believe, as he bounces to the far side.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to keep the offense on the field and try and convert this 4th and short.
4th down and 4, they have to go. The ball is right on the top of the block F in midfield. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Now the entire Fordham offense looking for a new call on the sideline. Running back offset just to the left of Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Smith takes the snap, looks right, throws right, and it's incomplete. That is an excellent play by the coverage on that one. I believe that was Spencer Kishbaugh, the redshirt sophomore linebacker, who saw the ball in the air and hit him immediately.
Yeah, 3 in routes all next to each other here toward the middle of the field. The second level of Monmouth shutting that down completely. One final real great defensive stop of the evening.
6:49 still to go in this game, and like I said before, the way the Fordham Rams defense has been playing, they could very well get this ball back. However, Monmouth's objective should be clear now with a 14-point lead. It's going to be pound the rock all day long.
Yeah, Rams need a stop. They've done it at some points this evening, but also this Monmouth offense has shown they're able to score when they need to, and this drive is definitely when they need to.
Derek Robertson in the shotgun. He will hand it off. Up the middle goes Rodney Nelson, and he gets a very good chunk of yards there. Call it 7 on the gain on 1st down, 2nd and 3.
And Tucker, the way they need points here, different from the way Fordham needs points. Fordham needs points to stay alive here. Monmouth can really put the game away with points, whether that's a field goal or a touchdown. Any scoring on this drive could almost put Fordham in the rearview window.
I don't know, Chris. They might not have a field goal kicker because we haven't seen him today.
Tucker, you're joking, but I don't think you're actually, you might actually be right.
2 wide receivers on the left for Monmouth. A running back offset to the left of Derek Robertson. The motion man is Derry, and they hand it off to Rodney Nelson, that is. Rodney Nelson gets the ball 2 plays in a row, and he gets similar gains both times. 1st down across the 35.
Another read option with multiple options, that time picking the right option once again, going up the middle, finding a hole. That specifically, the multiple options in the backfield has seen to be the only thing that opens up this Fordham D-line. We've seen that twice already this evening of that option play opening everything up downfield.
Now, Fordham's defense has been very bend, not break today. A lot of yards for the Monmouth offense, but once they get across the 40, it starts to slow down. So now, at the 34, One wide receiver on the right and a man in motion. They'll hand it off once again to Rodney Nelson, who is brought down on a very athletic tackle. That time it was...
That was a grown man tackle from Jalen Dawson.
Yeah.
Grown
Incredible
man
tackle there.
Stopped dead in his tracks. Looked like he hit a brick wall.
And thinking about Rodney Nelson's previous runs, he's gotten 3 or 4 and then kept the legs churning and gotten a couple extra after that. But before he could get the legs going again, it was a great play. 4:54 on the clock and bleeding. 42-28. Monmouth has the lead and the ball. It's going to be a handoff again to Rodney Nelson, who had a little bit of space. He's brought down by James Conway, 2 yards short of the first down marker for third down.
James Conway on the stop.
Conway having another very solid game on defense after a 17-tackle performance against Boston College last week.
And Tucker, that clock continues to tick. Every second that ticks off that clock is not in the favor of the Fordham Rams.
Fordham still trying to hold on to those timeouts, but... And a flag comes out here.
See some clapping on the Monmouth side. I believe that's going to go on Fordham.
Well, both teams pointing at each other now. Monmouth pointed at Fordham first. We'll see what the call is here, but this could... Yeah, offsides against the defense. A rare mistake by this Fordham defense. Certainly rare. They've been so good all night. And a flag comes out here for offsides that gifts Monmouth the first down after they were running the ball all the way down the field. And they might have gotten the first down again, but they get it for free.
And Tucker, those little mistakes, they come together to become a big mistake. It's been more the Monmouth defense making those small mistakes, garnering those penalties. That was a big one for the Fordham defense.
Josh Derry is confused about his motion, but he finally settles on the left side, and they're going to have to burn a timeout here. Derek Robertson turns to his sideline after Josh Derry looked like he was confused, and maybe some wires crossed for the Monmouth Hawks, and they burn a timeout with 3:52 to go here in the fourth quarter. Stop the clock.
Stop the clock. That's the opposite of what Monmouth wanted to do. Some miscommunication. They didn't want to beat themselves metaphorically. They wanted to just call a timeout, reset things, and put their best foot forward. Quick timeout as well.
Yes. Quick little... was that even a 30-second timeout?
I don't think so.
I feel like the ref may have been turning his watch a little bit too fast. But 3:52 to go with a stopped clock here. Monmouth down to 2 timeouts. Fordham has all 3. Monmouth has the ball, and they are on the Fordham 21. Derek Robertson in the shotgun has a wide receiver wide to the left, running back offset to his right, and a motion man from right to left. It's going to be a handoff with a fake throw. Bouncing around is Rodney Nelson, banging around like a pinball, and down at the 15.
Just about to say, Tucker, his yards after contact is just ridiculous. He'll get bumped, and then his second effort after the bump is almost as good, if not better, than the first. What a running back.
What a running back, and what a tandem of brothers, the Nelson brothers. Seriously. For these Monmouth Hawks. We mentioned their stats from last week against Colgate, where they kind of just teamed up and really just drove Colgate in the ground in that second half.
Pop Warner games with those two was borderline bullying, I'm sure.
Today, though, Gavin, a little quieter. 2 wide receivers on the left, 1 man in motion. They'll hand it off again. Rodney Nelson fighting forward. More yards after contact for Rodney Nelson, and he nearly has the first down. I think they will move the chains, and they're at the 10 of Fordham.
Normal football teams, they need 5 yards. Their running back isn't the primary option or the first thing they think of. Rodney seems to get 5 yards in his sleep. When they need it, he can get it.
Rodney Nelson is a 5-yard rush machine, and Fordham's defensive line has got to be huffing and puffing at this point because they have been out there for a long time, and they've been making great plays, but we saw the offsides, and now we're seeing the run game open up, and Monmouth is running it right up the gut, and they can't stop them. 2 wide receivers on the right. It's going to be another handoff to Rodney Nelson, who finds a hole once again, gets another 5, and he's down, call it at the 6.
Rodney, if he can continue to just do this, unstoppable. Fordham has no answer for these short pickups from Rodney. What, as you said, tandem of brothers, but specifically in the running game. Robertson has been shown to be a decent threat, but from the running back position, it has been just such a valuable element of their offense all evening long.
15-second timeout here. Taken by the Fordham Rams. They burn their first of the half to stop the clock, their first of the half to stop the clock at 2:18. So, when thinking about clock management this late in the game, you have to remember college now has the 2-minute timeout, so that's a free stoppage of the clock late in the game. Fordham decides to burn a timeout before the 2-minute stoppage, probably expecting a Monmouth score here that will give them the most time, but if Monmouth has to go through another couple of downs on this drive, that clock could go straight into the floor unless Fordham stops the clock.
And if Monmouth can get in the end zone with a touchdown, Fordham's chances get very, very slim.
2 wideouts to the left. The little tight end motion from left to right with a switch for the running back, now on the left of Derek Robertson. It's a handoff with a fake jet right up the middle, but that Fordham D-line finally solidifies a little bit and holds him to just 3.
Yeah, it's a win slightly for Fordham, but also on the Monmouth perspective, keeps the clock moving, keeps the ball in play, and forces Fordham to take a timeout there.
So Fordham burns another timeout. I believe the clock will be set at 2 minutes 14. It reads 2:12 right now, but their usual practice has been to add a second or two, and there it goes. 2:14 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Another timeout taken by the Fordham Rams. They're down to just 1.
Right coming up on the 2-minute warning as well.
Monmouth has a 14-point lead that they have been nursing for the better part of this second half. After they had a 2-score lead going into halftime, but then Fordham came out of the gates, scored, made it close again. But Monmouth was not only able to put another score on the board, but also sort of remedy their missed extra point from earlier on with a 2-point conversion. So now, 3rd down and 3 from the goal line for the Monmouth Hawks. It'll be another handoff to Rodney Nelson. He has lead blockers, but here comes that Fordham defense all over him. He sheds a man, reaches for the end zone, and he is going to be called down, I think at about the 3, but Rodney Nelson almost turned a tackle for a 4-yard loss into a touchdown.
He would have turned that into a touchdown. That would have been a superhuman feat of strength, truly. My mouth was on the floor watching him even try to accomplish that, let alone actually do it. My goodness.
And that play brings us to the 2-minute timeout in the fourth quarter. Monmouth 42, Fordham 28, and we'll be right back with more Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Spiro Ditas, WFUV class of 2001. WFUV is the epicenter of Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, men's and women's basketball, and of course, our iconic Saturday show, One on One. So keep your radios locked in right here, 90.7 FM, for all things WFUV sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field. Tucker Austin and Chris Carrino with you. 42-28 is the lead for Monmouth as we approach the other side of the 2-minute timeout here. And really quickly before we restart play, though, we have one more Sidelines report from our very own Gabby Price. Gabby?
Guys, game's not over, but obviously this is not where Fordham wants to be at this point in time. That being said, one thing I've really enjoyed seeing up front on the sidelines here throughout the game is this team's mindset. And it starts with the coaching. Coach Aselta went up to the offensive line and reiterated a timeless message that makes this Ram team what it is. Back each other, do your job, and trust your training. Excuse me. Even with 2 minutes to go, the Rams will give everything they have for each other and their school. Back to you guys.
And thanks very much, Gabby. Thank you for running up those million stairs to get up to the press box.
I could hear her out of breath. Maybe the hardest worker
to
of
do
the
your
crew.
last support. Yeah, she's been putting in more time than the Fordham defense.
Truly, she's huffing and puffing like that defense is right now. My goodness. Great work from Gabby Price.
Yes, absolutely. 2 minutes to go here between the Fordham Rams and the Monmouth Hawks. The home opener for the Fordham Rams in 2025, but not quite the result they were looking for so far. Monmouth knocking on the door here, trips right with a wide receiver on the left. They've run the ball exclusively, on this drive. And they will bring out a pass here. He's a wide open man at the goal line, and he is in for the touchdown. Don't let that be Josh Derry, and it is 4 touchdowns tonight for Josh Derry. Unbelievable. Monmouth has the lead well beyond 4. It's now 48-28.
I heard offhand in the press box at halftime he was having a Randy Moss stat line. If that was a Randy Moss stat line, what is this? The go-to guy on 4th downs near the end zone. It seems that, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but Derek Robertson might have a favorite receiver.
Josh Derry is having a Josh Derry game.
Truly.
I think there's no other way to describe it.
Truly, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Extra point is up and good to make it 49-28. The Monmouth Hawks do lead with under 2 minutes to play. 7 touchdowns for the Monmouth offense after an incredible Week 1 performance as well.
And Tucker, 48 points for Monmouth. That's 115 points the last 2 weeks that the Fordham defense has given up. We've seen, as we've talked about throughout this game, good stretches of the Fordham defense. That was even true last week as well. But that truly is a large point total. Have to calm that down if you want to stay competitive and win games down the stretch this season.
It's a little baffling, to be honest, Chris, because the defense plays really, really well.
Felt the same way last weekend to a certain extent.
They just, for some reason, they just cannot keep Monmouth out of the end zone tonight. They couldn't keep Boston College out of the end zone last weekend either.
And a lot of credit to Derek Robertson. He has been fantastic, truly has been in command, a true leader for this Monmouth offense. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations throughout this evening. He has kept them steady. He is what has kept them in the lead and ahead. They played from behind, Tucker, all last week. Last weekend, they played from behind all Saturday night, that 27-point deficit that they make up and then eventually take over. Tonight was different. Tonight, they played ahead. They played like the better team that they think they are.
Certainly. And I think, like you were saying, the whole first half Monmouth or second half Monmouth, we got Week 1 second half Monmouth, but for the entire game tonight.
And that has to be the goal for this Monmouth coaching staff, that second half, lightning in a bottle that they found last Saturday, to extenuate that now to a full season.
Oh, I know they bottled it. Why? Because the lightning was here tonight, too.
He's too good, ladies and gentlemen. He's too good.
1:49 to go. It is a 3-touchdown lead for the Monmouth Hawks. However, the Fordham Rams offense will head back out onto the field, and it's still Gunnar Smith.
Still Gunnar Smith. Like last week, Jack Capaldi not coming in the backup for this Fordham team. Gunnar Smith wearing that entire loss last weekend. He's going to stay in this one as well.
2 wide receivers on both sides for Smith with a running back offset to the right. He's going to dump it off to his man on the right. It's Jamel James. James is tackled out of bounds at around the 35, call it the 36-yard line, and that brings up second down and short.
Yeah, clock stops as well.
Yes, under 2 minutes out of bounds does fully stop the clock. Second down and 4 from their own 36. Go the Fordham Rams. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, same formation here. 2 wideouts on the left, 2 on the right. Fakes the handoff. He's pressured, and he's going to go down. In the backfield, a great play by the redshirt freshman D lineman Lamont Lester Jr., and you've said his name before, Chris.
Tucker, I've said it multiple times this evening, specifically there with the blindside pressure. It got Gunnar Smith all discombobulated and really created the sack.
Time bleeding away. Fordham pocketing their one timeout here with 1:13 to go. Gunnar Smith takes the snap and dumps it off to Jamel James in the backfield. He's going to go down for another loss. This time they lose 3 yards, and that is going to quickly bring up 4th down and very long here with under a minute to go.
Yeah, a Hail Mary-like conversion here. They need it to stay on the field. The lead may be just too much, but they want to keep this drive going.
3 wide receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Running back offset to the right. Gunnar Smith takes the shotgun snap, drops back to pass. He's pressured, and he has a man. It's Jack Freeberg. There he goes, across the 50, now to the 40, and he's brought down out of bounds around the 30-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 35, but 30 seconds left, stopped clock, first down and 10 Fordham from the Monmouth 35.
That play just made me laugh. Jabril Carter looked above his head like he overthrew it into the stands. Instead, Jack Freeberg right behind him, perfect catch into his hands.
Good eyes by Gunnar Smith to catch Freeberg out in the open. Really nobody near him. Everybody else on the field was covered, though, but he's kind of gone a little underlooked in this game so far, at least by this Monmouth defense. They've been putting all the pressure on the other guys.
Absolutely, and we've talked about some other wide receivers or skill players for this Fordham team not stepping up. Freeberg, definitely one of the guys stepping up past what is expected of him today.
30 seconds left. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. 2 wideouts on the right, 2 on the left. Running back to his left. Drops back to pass after play action. Firing for the end zone. It's incomplete. A lot of contact there from both guys, but they're pocketing the flags with 22 seconds to go.
And Tucker, regardless of the circumstances, down 3 touchdowns, still a lot of ways to go to get to the end zone. I'm still happy with that ball. That ball looked beautiful. The poise, the composure to get that ball off, and as beautiful as it was, yeah, there was some company, and that's why the play wasn't successful, but continuing to throw long balls like that, that'll help this Fordham offense.
He certainly still had an opportunity to make that catch as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Play action here for Gunnar Smith as he's pressured in the pocket. 3 tackles broken, and he can't break the 4th. He is brought down in the backfield. That time, it was Ryan Russo, the redshirt junior linebacker from Harrisonburg, PA. He makes the stop inbounds with 5 seconds left, and the clock bleeds to zeros. 49-28 is your final. The Monmouth Hawks defeat the Fordham Rams. What a performance after the largest comeback in school history in week 1 for the Monmouth Hawks. They come to Fordham for Fordham's home opener, and they take a 5-2 series lead all time against Fordham.
Yeah, Tucker, Monmouth has to be happy with how their first 2 weeks of the season have gone. A improbable win in week 1 and a relatively dominating win today. It was relatively competitive, but they were really on the front end the entire evening today. And on the other side, for Fordham, a really tough week last week. This week, Tucker admittedly had a lot more positives, a lot more things to write home about. But still, the problems prevailed. The problems were just too much for this Fordham team to have any success today, any real success today. And in the end, Fordham just not enough fireworks toward the end. As you said, the game got very monotonous in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Fordham just not able to match the firepower of this Monmouth team on both ends of the field and in special teams, as we said.
Monmouth kept it going all the way through this game. They bottled whatever energy they had from the end of last week. They brought it right here, and they unleashed it on the field today in front of us. Once again, the final 49-28. The Monmouth Hawks defeat the Fordham Rams. Monmouth goes on to play at Charlotte next week, while Fordham also goes on the road. They have Stony Brook next week. We send you now for the final time back to the Rose Hill studio. Thank you very much to Chris, and thank you to Gabby, our Sidelines reporter today. We're sending you back to the studio for the one-on-one post-game report. Here are Brendan Shorey and Derek Beaulieu. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome back to the Rose Hill Studios. Brendan Shorey here alongside Derek Beaulieu. What a game we had tonight in the rainy Bronx. We got all your second half highlights here for you and a couple of questions for Tucker and Chris. But first, let's go to Derek for our one-on-one scoreboard.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Second overall pick, Travis Hunter looks to put on a show in his first NFL game in Jacksonville as the Jaguars take on the Panthers in a battle of the Cats. Bryce Young looks to continue his success he had at the tail end of last season with new weapons at his side to help. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. tomorrow. The Lions head to Green Bay to take on the new and improved Packers, having recently added the thought-to-be unavailable Micah Parsons, who is expected to play in the first game of the season even with his injury concerns. Game starts at 4:25. To end your NFL updates tonight with an AFC divisional round rematch, the Ravens head to Buffalo to take on the Bills at 8:20. MVPs Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson will duke it out on the field, while Mark Andrews will have to face and overcome his past demons in the first game of the season. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Derek Beaulieu.
Thank you, Derek, for that. Now we have a couple of questions for our guys calling the game, Tucker Austin, Chris Carrino. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we got you, Brendan.
First off,
Hey, Brendan.
Hey, guys. First off, congratulations on a good call today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we got a couple questions for you guys. I'll get us started with this. 8 touchdowns scored in the first half. Only 3 scored in the second half. So obviously a big difference in terms of the scoring there. What differences did you guys notice between the first half and second half that kind of is a reason for that?
Well, I think I can take this one first, Chris. Really, I think the rain, certainly, because it wasn't raining to start this game, but then, as Gabby mentioned during the broadcast, the rain started coming down really in the second half, and I think that's what allowed for more of the pressure on special teams to be applied by Monmouth. Not that they weren't already applying the pressure early in the game, but I think they were able to do that even more in the second half, and over time, Fordham's defense was really stalwart in the first half and was able to keep it within a one-score game. But then as the second half rolled on, we kind of mentioned it in that fourth quarter. The defense started to get really tired. You saw a couple flags come out that were a little uncharacteristic. And then eventually the run game just ground and pound, and Fordham's defense faltered.
And in the second half, this Fordham defense gave up a lot less points than they did in the first half. It didn't really feel that way, but they gave up a dramatically less amount of points in the second half. Just too much ground that they didn't make up in that first half, especially defensively, and they were playing catch-up the rest of the evening.
Yeah, guys, thank you for that, and good job on the call today as well. But my question for you guys
Derek.
is, of course, my question for you guys is, what do you think that Monmouth did on fourth down that allowed them to be so successful on those conversions? Because they went for it 7 times and got it 6 of those times. So they got it 6 out of 7 times. So what do you think they did to allow them to do that?
Yeah, Derek, no, you're right to say it the way you did. It is pretty improbable. It's pretty insane. I really think from a certain perspective, and it really came up when they eventually did get the stop on fourth down, but this Monmouth team was too comfortable on fourth down. They really treated it as if they would just go get it. If they couldn't get it on third down, they would get it on fourth down. That level of comfortability had to be shaken by this Fordham defense. You can't let a team get that comfortable on fourth down. Eventually, as we talked about, they got that stop on fourth down, but as I just said in my last answer, it seemed like the damage had kind of already been done.
And, I would chalk it up to just being that all of their fourth down situations where they were a little bit lucky and just had short yardage, and it was kind of an obvious, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, we can probably get it. But they also had a couple of longer fourth down conversions in there, too. So
didn't see a field goal
really,
kicker.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think I really agree with you, Chris. I think that they did a really good job being comfortable with fourth down and having a plan. The same way they had a plan on special teams all night.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were doing every time fourth down came up in that part of the field. They knew they weren't kicking the field goal. And, I think they also did a really good job mixing it up in the backfield all night. This is sort of even like a general thought, not even just for fourth downs, but they had so much motion going on. And it wasn't always deceptive motion. Sometimes the motion was the guy getting the ball, and oftentimes that was the guy who was scoring. I think TJ Spite had multiple touchdowns when he was the motion man. And then Josh Derry's 2-point conversion was a motion play as well.
And or specifically the running back position for Fordham, really stagnant in the first 2 weeks of the season. That kind of play around the line of scrimmage, around the backfield, could also benefit Fordham, that sort of creativity being used.
Thanks, guys. Again, congrats on a great call, and we will see you guys in a bit.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks very much.
Now let's take a look at some of the highlights from this second half. This second half opened up with the Fordham touchdown. Gunnar Smith finds Troy Worrell in the back corner of the end zone and cuts the lead to 34-28. After the Fordham defense forced a stop on the next possession, Gunnar Smith came out with a chance to tie the game. Instead, he gets hit while throwing, and Monmouth picks him off. Monmouth took advantage of the Gunnar Smith turnover, going with a tush-push variant, and Derek Robertson forces his way in.
Both teams holding their hands up. I still can't see the referee.
I believe it's going to be a touchdown for Monmouth.
And, yep, that's a touchdown for Monmouth. The Monmouth half of the stands started going crazy, so they finally get into the end zone. I believe, unless they handed it off, that's probably going to be a Derek Robertson rushing touchdown.
That made it 42-28 Monmouth, and finally, in the last 2 minutes of the game, Josh Derry got his 4th touchdown of the day from Derek Robertson. He found him and extended that Monmouth lead to 49-28. That ended up being the final. Monmouth takes this one 49-28 over Fordham. I'm joined by Derek Beaulieu here for the post-game report. Derek, 49-28, Fordham lost. A tale of two halves here. A very high-scoring first half, 8 touchdowns, only 3 touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah, just black and white from the first to the second half. I mean, with that first half, you thought maybe there was going to be a lot more points. I mean, 49-28 is obviously already a high score, but you expected maybe a little bit more. But it seemed like maybe the offenses and the defenses just started getting a little tired and maybe the weather also had an impact, as we talked about a little bit. Maybe the rain starting had an impact on them throwing the ball, but it just very different halves and a lot less scoring in that second half.
Yeah, the rain, I think, definitely changed a bit of the game plan for both these teams. We saw the run game kind of take more priority in the second half as opposed to the first half, where both teams came out firing. You had interception early and then touchdown after touchdown. Second half, it looked more of a run-first style offense from both teams, hence the lower scoring half. The clock kept moving, but I want to highlight a couple of players, and because of the emphasis on the run that second half, Fordham linebacker James Conway, 19 tackles tonight. He had 36 tackles combined between tonight and last week against Boston College. That is the most ever in a 2-game stretch for him. It's his 3rd highest ever in terms of singular game tackles. He had 22 back in 2021 against Lehigh and 21 tackles in 2023 against Holy Cross. Tonight, 19. He just has such an impact on that side of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. He was making stops everywhere, and I think Tucker and Chris a few times were talking about people were just running into a brick wall. It seemed like he was just a wall that they couldn't run through, and that's why maybe Monmouth weren't able to score as much, but they still definitely established a good run game, and that's why they were able to still run that clock down and end up with a touchdown on a super long drive that they had that cut down a lot of the clock.
It seems like between last week and this week, anywhere you look on that field, James Conway is going to be there. He's flying all over and making plays for the Fordham defense. Another guy I want to highlight, though, on the opposite side of the ball, you have to talk about Josh Derry, 4-touchdown game.
I mean, you have to. I mean, 4 touchdowns is insane just in a game, but I mean, 4 touchdowns. I mean, there's nothing you can't compare.
They were comparing it to Randy Moss.
You can't
on
at
the
that
broadcast.
point. At that point, it's just he's just him. Like you can't. There's nothing to compare it to. He just 4 touchdowns is insane on 144 yards. I mean, you can't compare. He's the comparison at this point.
And you asked the guys about the 4th down conversions, and that's something that really sticks out to me as well. Is if you're going 6 for 7, if you're so successful on 3rd down or 4th down for that matter, it makes a huge impact for you and your ability to move the ball down the field and score.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were still even successful on 3rd down. They maybe not as successful, 5 for 16. Fordham was as well, a little bit, 6 for 15. But Monmouth really, they took advantage of the plays that they had. They took advantage of getting able to get close to their first downs, maybe not on their 1st and 2nd downs, but they took advantage of just being able to get to the 1st down, so then they had more opportunities later on to make bigger plays, and they definitely were able to make those bigger plays.
I want to talk about Gunnar Smith for a second, too.
Absolutely.
He finished this game 27 for 49, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. We saw flashes of this Gunnar Smith last week at Boston College, but to be able to come home and see that out on the field in a more consistent manner is definitely promising for this Fordham team in their future.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he put up stats like this. You kind of, it's sad to see him walk away with the loss. Obviously, at this with this game, with the kind of game he had. Obviously, the 1 interception, a big blemish on him, but not a huge blemish, especially with 4 touchdowns, with a rushing touchdown and over 300 yards. But I mean, he can definitely hold his head high. He can look forward to the next game. If he has performances like this down the line, he's definitely going to get those wins. It's just a matter of time at this point. I mean, he's playing well. Obviously, it's just a matter of time until he gets that win for Fordham for the first time this season.
And you mentioned next game. Next game is next Saturday at Stony Brook. What do you want to see from this Fordham team? What do you want to take from this game, go to practice, work on, and see it out on the field next game?
I mentioned a couple things at halftime that I don't think Fordham really established on. I think the kickoffs did get a little better, but definitely the rushing game. I mean, when your quarterback is throwing for over 300 yards, you can obviously you can rely on that a little bit, but changing up your game so then maybe you saw in the second half they were only able for the 1 touchdown as opposed to the 3 touchdowns in the first half. Maybe they did get a little bit predictable and they were able to shut down that pass, the pass. So maybe Mitch switching it up a little bit, starting to be a little unpredictable, and then they could really establish a game so they can play 4 quarters of really good football rather than a 1 good half.
You definitely do want to see that second half defense that we saw tonight stood a little firmer than what we saw in the first half. But that is going to be it from here in the Rose Hill Studios. Our final score, Monmouth 49, Fordham 28. Tucker, Austin, and Chris Carrino were on the call today. Gabby Price was our sideline reporter. The glorious Joe Henry was working the board in the back. Leah Renshaw and Emma Leonardi were the highlights crew tonight, supervised by Grace McCarron. The sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. I would like to remind you to tune in next week when the Fordham Rams travel to Long Island to take on the Stony Brook Seawolves. That one is next Saturday, September 13th at 3:30 Eastern. Until then, for Derek Beaulieu, I'm Brendan Shorey saying so long, good night, see y'all later. Fordham Football is a production of WFUV Sports.